Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
I like turtle.
We're live across the globe, and it's time for Midnight's Edge After Dark. It's daylight savings time, so it's actually light out in most places still. Go figure. We have with us
Midnight's Edge before dark.
I was going to say, exactly. That's my point. Like, it's still light out. We have with us on the panel tonight a rare treat. We've got the Sweet Taco Baby Inc. CEO himself, Mexican Iron Man. Or is it Mexican Iron Crybaby?
Mexican Iron Man is proud to announce that Sweet Taco Baby Inc. is now available to be hired for $1,000 per hour. Mexican Iron Man will be available to consult your YouTube channel, your IP, anything you want, and provide you with the advice you need to make it more brown guy friendly. And I'm a subject matter expert because I'm a brown guy. See right here.
You're an expert on fisting by the looks of it.
Honestly, I don't know. Sweet tacos does not sound too alluring. Except for
Sweet Taco Baby and ladies.
No.
And ladies, just so you know, we're launching our new ad campaign slogan, and the new the new slogan's going to be "Where the sweetness is in Mexican Iron Man's taco sauce."
Why would you want sweet tacos though? They're usually hot.
It's for the lady. You know what? We're not here to ask questions.
Are they choco tacos? Choco tacos are sweet.
You throw bacon on there, you get the sweetness right there.
Okay, I need less questions and I need more credit card numbers from you guys on this panel. All right, that's what I need.
My credit card number is 867.
Wait, why does that start?
Write this down.
Wait, hold on.
Start with the right set of
309 JENNY.
No, there's no Y's in numbers.
We also have Clobber in times with us tonight. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, bud, it's great to be here with the amazing chat and so many distinguished YouTubers on this panel.
Except for me.
Yes, indeed.
We're
multiplying
of us.
We're like a gremlin in water here. We also have our first of our set of. Let's do this like in the middle here. Look at that. We got our 3 Canadians like a sandwich. It's a Canadian bacon sandwich.
We're just Rush, basically. The 3.
Well, and that one on the end is sus as fuck because he's actually Scottish. I don't trust the Scots as far as I can throw them.
Nope.
And
neither.
And that's just because I'm Irish. No other reason.
Diddly potatoes. I'm related to them. Definitely don't trust them.
We don't trust them for shit. No.
No.
Because we know them too well.
They are good at frying food, though.
Yes.
You can always trust them to make sure someone else is bought around first before they come in.
Honestly, I will have to say there's probably better Scottish food than Irish food, probably, because Irish food is just gross.
No, I think it's all pretty bad. Trust me.
Yeah, it's all pretty bad, but Scottish is a little bit better. Well, anyway, that being said, first of all, we have 70s rock fan. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me. It's great to be on the
Yeah.
stream with the world's greatest YouTuber,
Oh, you beat me to saying it.
which is
Well,
that
we're all
line.
in agreement here.
Mexican Iron Man, the consummated YouTuber, I would say.
You know what?
You got to use that term loosely around
Tom,
him.
you need to
man.
tell him to stop that right now, right now. Thank
I'm
you.
more worried about him using that term because next thing you know, it's going to be Mexican Iron Daddy all over again.
Mexican Iron Man. There'll be a lot of sweet taco babies. Eh?
I'll be wrapped up like little burritos.
I can neither confirm nor deny what might have happened.
One of these days, Michael will be here. He'll have one on each arm, just like, look, I can't work.
Who's a bigger threat, though, to his life? Is it Sweet Baby Inc. or Elf?
Oh, that's a good question.
Maybe they'll look like Elf. This is the thing.
Oh,
Somebody's got a cat that's happy though. I just heard a kitty.
That would be me. I can't believe you heard that.
I did. I heard. That means somebody got pets.
Someone's stroking it.
I'm still shocked that you were able to hear it. Yeah,
I speak cat.
You do.
Yeah.
The thing is that I didn't want her to make noise. She sometimes starts meowing, so then I just picked her up, thinking that maybe she'll be quiet, and she made that noise, and then you heard it.
She got what she wanted because she was going to yell at you for not petting her, and now she's getting her pets, and that's the happy pet noise.
I guess.
I got my pets. I got my pets. I got my pets. Don't stop. That, of course, is price of reason not to jump ahead here. But how you doing, my friend? You joining us a little late, or we're a little early? One or the other.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Is it late or early? I think it was pretty early.
I don't know. We're an hour earlier than we normally are. Just be reasonable here with the whole time change thing.
Okay. I think it's okay though. It worked for me though. So, and I didn't mean to take up whoever's turn it was to talk.
Anybody who no, you're fine. I was just doing a Canadian bit. But like, I don't know whoever thinks that this spring ahead shit's a good idea, but they are dumb.
Dude, I just got over the time hangover like today.
I know. This needs to end.
It takes like 3 or 4 days for me, and it shouldn't. It's 1 freaking hour. But that hour, I don't know.
Means the world, man.
It's horrible, and doctors don't like it. And
this is a bad idea. Where did we get this idea? Who came up
World
with
War
it?
One.
Canada?
World War One.
Like anything.
And then they kept on hanging on to it because I believe it was like it was so that like farmers and stuff had more.
No, it had nothing to do with farmers. They operate when the sun shows up. They don't care what time it is.
Yeah.
When the sun's out, they work.
Well, I was told because kids went to school and they wanted to have the kids for an extra hour of daylight afterwards to work. That's what we were told in Wisconsin. So,
that makes no sense.
But it's called child labor. That's why it makes sense. Because they just spit kids out to have workforce here.
Well, yeah, employees. And then when the parents die, then those kids have to fight over the farm.
Usually.
Yep.
And that's why they say you buy the farm. But yeah. Anyway, we have CC Karaoke in the middle, like Paul Lynn today. How you doing?
If I'm going to be in the middle of a threesome sandwich, I need more ladies on the panel.
That's
at least there's diversity amongst the men you're in a circle surrounded by.
Well, I mean, I guess in that case we can get away with
like,
it.
I can't make this sound any straight. You're
just
trying to
can't
straighten
look
your way out of it.
Can't look stripped in the eye in this season. I just can't.
And we also have our Canadian script doctor as well. How you doing?
Doing well. It's nighttime where I am still, even though the hour has changed. It's still
That's
very
because you're
dark.
Canadian.
Yep.
You made it sound like he only doctors Canadian scripts when you say it like that.
It's always nighttime in Canada.
Yeah, they get like 1 hour of daylight.
That's why I match my whiteboard behind me.
Probably a vampire and doesn't know it.
I thought vampires usually know when they are. Man, who knows? Man,
Well, if you're in a place where it's dark all the time, how would you know?
I guess this day and age, they probably don't. They don't even, unless they sparkle, or they don't even know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you
definitely
sparkle, then you're not a vampire. You're a fairy.
Yeah, if you, yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Agreed.
Yeah,
According
very
to
sparkly.
Gina, we can blame the Germans for
At the-
daylight savings. Yeah.
At the risk of getting beat up by 6, I'll say it. No, I've said it a million times before, and I'll say it again. in Twilight, those things come out during the day. They float around and sparkle. They have more in common with fairies than they actually do with vampires.
I didn't know that was a
What?
taboo subject. I didn't know it was a taboo
Well, you're in
subject.
for a beating later now.
What?
Oh, I didn't know
They
that was a
bite
bad.
you too, like fairies do.
I love Twilight.
I knew you did.
Fairies-
I heard it about you.
I know I shouldn't, but I do.
Really?
Fairies are not nice.
The
I've
books
seen
or the
labyrinths.
movies or both?
The movies. I never read the books. I'm not like
Okay.
like.
Remember in Labyrinth, that little fairy bites her. She's like a little bitch, and she throws her and shit.
I can only watch them with
She's
rip
like, that
tracks.
fairy bit me, and then Hoggle's like, well, what did you expect? It's a fairy. So it's like everybody knows that.
I have to watch. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, just to answer Mikey, that I was forced to watch, I think, 3 of those 5 Twilight movies, and
Good stuff, right?
not at all. No, and I was.
No.
The thing is that I was in a relationship where, like, my girlfriend at the time wanted to watch these movies, but we broke up right before Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2, and
Oh.
actually, that
You
was
lucked
kind
out.
of it was a relief.
Yeah. Hell, you dodged 2 big bullets
Well,
there.
that's why I
Two
got
big
into it. I was
ones.
dating this chick that was into it, and you know what happened after every time we went to one of them movies?
You
fell
fixed the cable.
You
You
made
fixed the
your
cable.
You fell asleep.
Well, we have
What
one
you-
more panelist to
Sparkle?
introduce here. Sorry, what'd you say, Cloudy?
I was asking. He said, "What happened?" I said, "After that, you sparkled or what?"
Yes.
Yeah. Let's just say
Never had any need for a
Me-
flashlight ever again.
Mexican Iron Man turned his soft shell tortillas into hard shell. Yeah,
Oh my.
that's code for giggity time.
I would imagine so. Speaking of giggity time, we got Nick Weiser here.
Hey, how's it going? I saw there was a trailer on a movie that's not The Crow. And you know what? I guess we'll watch it and talk about it. Hello, chat and wrenches. We got a panel of dudes, including the greatest YouTuber of all time, who should actually have 3 billion subscribers, not 3K. That's how great he truly is. 3 billion.
That's him not even, that's him not even trying.
Yeah, I know,
Right.
right? This is him. He's getting 3K practically in his sleep, which is actually really impressive if you think about it.
No, I'm like at 2,600, I think, or something.
Mm,
Wait, I haven't looked in a while.
nice.
Am I? I don't know. I'll have to look later. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't care. I'm here for the show with my friends. Let's party.
Go for it.
Okay, who's gonna
Do
start
it.
the party?
Do it.
All right. Well,
Let's come.
first of all, there was a Crow trailer. I don't
Oh,
know who
I
all
saw
watched this thing.
It's
Can we
a
watch
movie
it?
about a
Yeah, I
movie about
watched it an hour
birds.
ago.
A movie about birds, right?
I suppose we can watch it, but if you're watching this on the replay and it just disappears, then of course you know what that means.
Yeah.
Your heads
Post
up.
Malone decided he was going to.
If you stay awake during the whole trailer,
Well, was that what
Then
that
you did
crappy
okay.
music was that was assaulting?
I
my
know,
ears?
right? And then it makes you wonder why they just didn't have Post Malone in the movie because that's what Skarsgård looks like in this thing. What the hell is FKA Twigs? What is that?
It's Twinks.
Huh? I don't know.
I guess that's one of the stars. That's a name now.
What?
It's better than Post Malone.
I don't know. Danny.
Not as good as
Houston.
Sia, but that's up for debate, I guess.
See ya
But
where I
Post
see
Malone
ya.
sucks.
I bet Post Malone hangs out with Tyler, the Creator.
Yes.
But it's I'd say that's likely.
All right, you guys ready for the
Singer and
question?
dancer.
Yeah, let's go.
What's the first thing you liked about me?
Nothing.
Thought that you were quite brilliantly broken.
Eat Twinks right there.
You feel like my person.
You feel like my person.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
You feel like my butt.
I saw things. I shouldn't have seen any of it.
I saw things I shouldn't have seen any of them.
Seeing things sucks.
I know, right?
I'm not saying. So they say that's not good for you.
When someone dies,
They're no longer alive.
carries a soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes something so bad happens
Like this movie.
that the soul cannot rest. Until you put the wrong things right. You were given the power of a god. But you're running out of time to save her. I'm gonna kill them. Every single one of them.
Everyone in alphabetical order.
I killed you. Yeah, you did.
We have a problem. He came for us.
First impulse. Anger. It's not.
I love how much they're showing him get shot in this trailer, considering the fate of Brandon Lee.
Yeah, no kidding. No.
I hope
Good
to
point.
God his ghost haunts each and every individual that's involved in this movie, including Danny Houston, who I like.
This should have not been made. I know I said it before, but this not even if you take out the name The Crow, you can even say a story that looks like it influenced by The Crow. The voice does not fit a character like The Crow. Brandon had that perfect voice, and the look and the tattoos is obviously as terrible as Joker's 2016 Suicide Squad movie look. This doesn't even look entertaining as an action movie.
No, it doesn't.
He looks like he should be in a Gap commercial.
There's 40 seconds more, kids.
No kidding.
Yeah, it
Go
gets
for it.
better.
Anger.
Shoot him again.
It's love. Look at what you've become. You know that love promises only pain.
He sure uses a lot more guns.
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, I do think if I remember right, The Crow does use some guns in the comic.
He
but
did.
Jesus.
He did. He did.
But that's a lot.
I have no issue with that. I mean,
how do people consider that music?
Yeah, I don't.
okay.
I'm gonna do a whole song where that's all I do is just go.
FK Twigs is the chick or something? Or who
It's
is that?
British singer,
guess.
dancer.
Probably, yeah.
Oh my God.
She.
No, see, I mean, we all, I'm sure there's a lot of divided opinions in the chat who know this
I
term,
doubt
but
it.
you could say 90s hard rock, new metal, whatever you call it. That stuff was a better fit as a soundtrack for that movie than this is. So once again, it's not a good fit. Maybe once again, I would probably look a little bit differently of it if it had a different name, but since this is The Crow and that movie set the example, like I know it's Ozzy too singing at that one part, but this soundtrack does not fit. It really doesn't. Where's that energy? You look at the early trailer for The Crow. There's a power to that trailer. This doesn't look like power. Just looks like another Batman villain that's somehow trying to call himself The Crow. But whatever.
And we also got this cruddy poster here.
This is awful.
Makeup's really
Awful.
running there. Yeah.
It looks like an
I
R-rated,
got these scars.
R-rated Twilight. Yeah. But yeah, it's like almost separating the original movie from this movie. This trailer, it was compared to the original Crow. It looks like a combination of like an R-rated Twilight and a John Wick, kind of mashed together with a touch of Squid Game at the very beginning. In terms of look, it doesn't have the gothic look.
It's bland. It's bland, very bland.
But yeah, it's Yeah, that's a weird look to
It's
it.
like every other movie.
Yeah, but
Well, I don't know what they spent on this piece of crap, but I gotta imagine they paid a little bit for the rights. I think they came along with the Miramax Dimension sale, and Lionsgate somehow hung on to them, even though they sold everything else off to Paramount, because Paramount actually owns the original films now.
Hopo Bar's getting the big payday.
I'm sure he is, but like that's just it. At this point, it's like, who asked for this, and
Nobody.
what world did this even sound like a good investment? You know what I'm saying? Like, who did you sucker into
I
this?
don't know.
Maybe their rights were going to be lapsed and go back to the original creator if they didn't make the
Most
movie in time.
likely.
Could be.
But
But
that's
still-
what I was wondering, how much they
okay.
spent on this. That's what it feels like to me as a rights
But still,
retainer.
what's the big deal of retaining the rights when it's never really remaking? It's never going to.
That's my point too. I agree with you. At this point, just why even attempt it?
Why, Bob?
Why
No one cares.
bother?
Because, well, you already spent money having it. You're going to want to throw in an option to try and make that money back.
Yeah,
Fair, but that was
that's
my
just how it
question.
works.
Script, I guess, was like, was there a separate play made for these rights? Because the chain of rights, as far as I know, went from Miramax, which sold to Lionsgate, which then sold all those rights off to Paramount. But what they ended up doing, evidently, as far as I can tell, is just retaining the remake and sequel rights to The Crow over at Lionsgate. And they did the same thing with Highlander and a few other things. So whatever they did, however they finagled that, because I don't think they paid anything extra for it, is my point. So like, to me, it feels like a why?
Again,
bad
franchises
investment.
cannot die in Hollywood. They're just dormant.
True.
Yeah, you've said that over and over again over the years.
Yeah,
Very
and
true.
it's very true. Like, again, we have a Perry Mason remake television show, and
Yeah.
Perry Mason's from the freaking 50s, man. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you, nothing. Listen, as much as people want to promote, yep, something is going to be dead or whatever, it never dies. Someone always finds the rights. They always try to make something new to kind of reinvigorate the franchise and line their pockets. They always do it. Sometimes it works to the benefit of everybody, and sometimes you get this remake of The Crow.
Perry Mason's show got canceled sometime in the 60s, for example. So did all this time afterward, does anyone even own the rights, or just nobody did? Or what? What was the deal with that? I mean, as an
Rights went to
example.
the original creator, and then I believe their estate licensed him off for the remake. The same thing has happened with Matlock right now, which I think has got
Matlock.
What's her name in it? Kathy Bates is.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, she looks just like Andy Griffith. I mean, really,
The silhouette
she always
is
reminded me of
immaculate.
her.
Have any of you watched the Perry Mason, the one?
I heard it was horrible.
Watched the first season. I don't know. Has there been a second season?
There was a second season, and I watched the first season, and I kind of went with it, even though it did everything that I don't like. It's highly unlikely that in 1920 or whenever it's supposed to take place, Della Street will be a LGBT character.
Oh my
Paul Drake
God,
was also
really?
now a African-American guy, which again, in that year, probably wouldn't make sense that he would be the detective. So a lot of stuff there that they were just pushing in there. And I thought to myself, I'll give it another season. Maybe they'll just focus on, and he was an alcoholic and a bum, Perry Mason, and they had to tell him how to be Perry Mason.
Yes.
And then at the end of the season, it looked like he was on top of his game. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it one more season. If they start off and he acts like Perry Mason, I'll keep watching. But then I start off, and again, he's like an alcoholic bum or something. And I just said, that's it. I'm done. Go. You can do whatever you want with this show. I'm not watching it. And that was it.
So it's in the 20s?
I think 20s or 30s or something. It's something that they had really elaborate sets to make it look like old, maybe New York.
Man, the show started in 1957, so that means he'd have been pretty. Perry Mason at that point lasted 9 years. How old was he by the time the show starts?
I don't know. I think it takes place in the 30s. And by the way, he's a deadbeat dad too. In addition to being an alcoholic, he's also a deadbeat dad.
Oh yeah, the lazy flaws of the character. Okay.
How Hollywood.
Well, all this further proves what Script said, which is that these franchises don't die; they just lay dormant as zombies until they come back.
There has not been one positive comment in this entire string so far.
I thought the trailer sucked for, look, I thought
I've been going through this thing.
I thought that trailer sucked for two reasons. Number one, the trailer just sucked, and number two, I got this weird pit in my stomach because when I think of The Crow, I only think of one person, and it's not this guy.
No,
and that's just because I'm old enough to remember, right?
We're also unfortunately getting a bit too much Bill Skarsgård close together in a bunch of these films.
Maybe
He's
that-
in another one where he's plays a mute, but he's voiced over by H. John Benjamin. And then he's doing this one. I think he's doing one more action type film. That's back to back. That's a lot of him. People are going to get sick and tired of this guy, especially if he's doing movies that are not really making waves with audiences.
I said it before the show, and I'll say it on a stream now. And I know I ain't been very popular with my opinion lately, but fuck it. I think Bill Skarsgård's overrated as fuck. He plays the same part no matter what. His Pennywise sucked. This looks like it's gonna suck. Tell me one thing that he's done that's been really good.
The Northman.
Because I'll put his Pennywise up against Tim Curry any fucking day of the week.
Oh yeah, Tim Curry is hard to act to follow for anybody.
But still, like they just totally either he didn't get it or the creators didn't get it. It doesn't matter. I've not seen him in one damn good thing that I think he was all that great in. And everybody always praises him like he's the second coming of Christ. Like his dad gets more attention
in that part.
Stripping down.
But was he not in the Northman? Wasn't that like the only good thing he's done?
I think that was his brother.
That was his brother? Okay.
Yeah, that was the other Skarsgård.
Hard to tell because they both have almost the same physical body. Like you have the basically the dehydrated, ripped, scrawny muscle guy.
There's three brothers, I think, isn't there?
All I know is that
Alexander is one. Yeah.
Yeah, Alexander, Peter, or wait, Peter's the dad, right?
Probably more. Well, no, Stellan's the dad.
Stellan's the dad. Okay.
There's an unrelated Skarsgård. That might be Peter. Yeah. It's spelled differently as well.
Oh, that one I don't know then. This one, Bill, is his kid.
The one that was in Green Lantern is the one that's not related to Stellan Skarsgård. And he doesn't seem like he would be. And Stellan is the only one I consider an actor out of all these people, but that's just me.
I agree. Well, I mean, the one kid that was in the Viking movie, Norseman, that one was he wasn't so bad, but he's playing within his range there, right? Like they keep putting Bill out there like he's this next Marlon Brando or something, right? Like I'm failing to see it, and maybe it's just my curmudgeon-y self, but
the other brother is Gustav that was in Vikings.
Okay,
he was Floki. He was Floki.
Same one,
and he was good. Yeah.
And the other one was Tarzan.
I know why you don't like him, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but Klobby, I didn't hear what he said.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the other one was Tarzan.
Tarzan. Oh boy. Stalin's kids. Here we go. Alexander, Bill, Gustav, Walter, Sam, and Elijah. Okay, and you were gonna say, Mike?
They've got their own ice hockey team.
Yeah. Mike, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the reason you don't like him is because he's white and you're racist because you internalize your white racism.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I think I've externalized it quite well.
Externalized it pretty much.
Okay, externalized it, exterminated it, whatever.
Oh,
look at my Twitter. I think I externalized my racism quite well.
Good point.
Tom, you are in trouble, Tom.
Oh Lord. Before the show, it looked like Brian gifted you guys some poor suckers. I mean saps. I mean people membership. You poor people have to deal with
that must mean we're having a membership stream next week.
In about 2 weeks, I think. But yes. Oraxis is here and sends in 5 and says, "Don't worry, Mike. I won't bring up the fact that you are only 40 subs away from 3K. No, sir. No Mexican Iron Man 3K from me today." So you can thank him.
Is that for real? Let me go look.
That's for real. That's what he says. Adam Wolford says, "Mexican Iron Man, you're the greatest YouTuber is Femboy and his dates named Armand de Lioncourt.
Armand
doesn't look like good address."
Wow.
This is some lore I'm not familiar with. What's going on here?
What do you mean? Don't say lore, because when you talk like that, then it starts going off like wildfire.
It is lore. Who is Armand de Lioncourt?
No, Adam Wolford is making crap up. This is no lore of me.
You knew exactly what it was.
No, I don't know.
You lie.
How dare you say he doesn't look good in a dress? How do you know?
Oh, that's I've never worn a dress.
He's been working out lately, sir.
I need to see these pictures now.
There are no.
You don't need to see them. No. You don't. Nobody needs to see those.
Yes, thank you. Back to the show. You people driving me nuts over here.
Who are you calling people?
A dress not good. A dress doesn't look good on Mikey. But maybe a one-piece bathing suit, perhaps. Not a Borat.
Whoa. Oh.
I have worn a man thong before.
Of course you have.
I wonder if
thong remains the
Armande
same.
is
It was a
anything like
joke. It
somebody
was
I
for a
once knew,
Halloween party. I wore
Amanda.
it for a joke. It was a joke at a Halloween party.
The thong remains the same.
Thong, thong, thong,
I was in
thong.
way better shape. This was like 10, 12, 15 years ago.
Goddess of Whim's in the house. How you doing, Goddess of Whim? Sends in $5. Says at work. Got to be quick. Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna die of cringe from this trailer. Ooh, I hear you. Brandon Lee is turning in his grave. Okay, back to work. Bye. Well, hopefully you have a good night at work. And yeah, this is just one of those I just don't feel like they should have touched. I mean, I get what Script's saying and all that kind of business.
One of
but
many that shouldn't be touched.
but there's just a certain few that it's just like, oh, come on, seriously, right? Like, I mean, it's already been done to death with the sequels,
Right.
Yep.
and then he had to pay me to say it. See that? Look at it. He says it $2. Say Mr. Sucker to you, Tom. That's right. Yeah. Well, Mr. Sucker, I mean, I'm not even gonna go there. I Cthulhu sends in $2. Says this horrible music. Hell no. Yeah, it's some Post Malone remix of some Ozzy music, and somebody was saying, Nick, that it's not even from one of Ozzy's better albums either.
Probably isn't from one of his better albums.
It's like one of his latter
no
ones. I don't remember
surprise.
which one, but
The whole involvement here is he was already sick, Ozzy, and then Post Malone, who has a lot of Instagram followers or something, he said, "Oh, you can be on my track," and then Ozzy kind of, was a good sport about it. But this isn't really. It's not doing Ozzy any kind of service. This track.
well, you got a phone call and it's like, hey, Post Malone wants you to be on a song. Huh? I don't go to the post office. I pay somebody to do that for me. I don't go to the post alone.
I bet that was the conversation, actually.
It's gonna
No,
have
no,
more
no, no.
Birmingham accent now. You're gonna be a bit more Birmingham.
Yeah, you can do it probably better than me, but
They'll go to the post alone.
I don't go to the post alone. Sharon!
Well, Sharon's the one who takes care of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Sharon's the one who made the deal. We all know that. Right? Or her people.
Oh, he'd love to do it.
Exactly. Adam Wolford says with $5, why are they having the bad guys supernatural powers so that where the dark gothic elements, it's too bright, turn some damn lights off. Eric is broken. Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with the cinematography, right? You have the original film, which almost every shot is a special effect, whether you know it or not. That movie is chucked to the brim with matte paintings and set pieces, and it is a completely created world. Like there was like more work put into that than they did for Gotham and Batman, probably. Actually, I think they had the same crew work on it. But I mean, that movie is like it was put together a lot like Dick Tracy. I don't know if you guys heard me talk about Dick Tracy or not, but like that movie was like what George Lucas was doing 10 years later with computers, they did with Dick Tracy earlier with green screen and opticals and matte paintings.
It was nothing but one big special effect.
One big special effect, right? So The Crow, not as hardcore as Dick Tracy, was a much, lesser undertaking, but it was similar to that in that respect.
Yep.
To where they like every scene is like a piece of artwork, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they took what was on the page and didn't do it 1-to-1, but what they did was they extrapolated the tone, the feeling, the dirt, the grit, the blood, the guts, the piss, everything that was in that fucking comic, and just pulled it out. And they needed to make an antagonist, right? You needed because in the original book it's just a random act, and so they did change that in the movie. But like all the characters that are there are in the book. Top Dollar is just he's pushed to the front as a main antagonist, but he was cast so brilliantly by what was it, Michael Wincott is his name, remember right?
Yes.
Just fucking great. I mean, so you got him in there, and I put him on a level of like Alan Rickman and Die Hard level bad guys, just how charismatic he is in that role. And that's just it. You have everybody who was so great in the roles. Brandon was born to play that role, and he died playing that role. the production design is, I mean, that movie changed Hot Topic. It was a joke, but it's true. Like, people forget what Hot Topic was before The Crow. After The Crow, Hot Topic became nothing but black leather. You know, and then endlessly, you know, finally emo guys had something to dress like for Halloween. What movie was that where they made the joke that nobody's supposed to come dressed as the Crow, or was that a TV show? I can't remember which, but that was the whole thing because there's too many crows every year.
Probably
like
a South Park joke.
It was one of those. I think it was South Park. It was like 15 people always show up dressed like the Crow.
A murder of crows. Or is it ravens that are murder?
They had a Halloween or a costume party, and they forbade anybody from dressing as the Crow. Nowadays, you got to say nobody can dress as the Crow or Harley Quinn.
Good. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because those are the two probably. That's the thing, is the Crow is so. It's iconic, right? I know some people would probably say it's blasphemy, but I would put it up there with movies like Gone with the Wind and all these other films where just one iconic image from that movie, you know exactly what it's from.
It was one of those movies that defined the 90s. It was one of those movies that defined the 90s. Like, it has a lot of the things that when you think of the 90s, it said you had a lot of the goth thing going on, the black stuff going on, the whole culture around that time, the image of the anti-hero, if you will, that was taking a lot of rise in popularity, not just in comic books, but in general movies, video games. You had the anti-hero thing going on, of course. Then you had the soundtrack too. I mean, a lot of those bands are big bands of the time as well.
Oh, the soundtrack is one of those things.
It really is one of those things that defines that decade. So yeah, I actually would say in your defense, yeah, it is one of those definitive movies. Whether you want to say you like or not, it's not even here nor there, but its cultural relevance is irrefutable.
Yeah, like Back to the Future, or even you know, like Wizard of Oz. To me, it's like one of those movies where you can almost quote certain things from it too, and people know. It's like, you move and you're dead. I'm dead. I move, you know. And the other one I always like is Who Gets Married on Halloween? Evidently nobody.
Today is not a good day to be a bad guy.
Yep, today is not a good day to be a bad guy.
They didn't even put that in the trailer.
Fire it up. Fire it up. He saw how bad good was, or how evil good was. Anyway, yeah, the whole thing he does. Anyway, yeah, Michael Wincott. Like, how do you like? I like Danny Houston, but not even close. Top Dollar is one of those bad guys that is just like, yeah, he nailed that shit. Like, you can't, like, he almost gets the Crow too, because he figures it out, and you know, caw, fuck, I'm dead. That whole thing, and yeah, just he's great in it. Adam Wolford, we got that one. We got 6 in the house. Oh shit.
Yeah, you are in trouble, Tom.
Yep.
I told you.
Mike, take over.
Why? What happened?
I'm running away.
The wrath of 6 is
Take
here.
the beating.
What did you do wrong?
That's all you can do
6
now.
and $2 said, I heard that, Tom. Sparkle,
I know it's
vampire,
Sparkle.
vampire.
Oh, 6. So you're with me. Oh, that's right. 6 loves Twilight too, like I do.
She does.
Yeah. I could watch these movies over and over again.
Sorry.
You are so busted. That's the thing the thing is, Tom, you never know when me and 6 are listening. You never know. Like,
I know you listen all the time.
Yeah, like you're like
insane.
you'll go for 2 or 3 hours with Andre.
You can't say shit.
And then you'll say something, or like your camera on, and I see you with the Twinkie, and I'm like, ah.
6. Tom made us do it. We didn't want to.
Oh, blame me. Yes, and Tom H. the Crow did start as like a cult thing, but I mean, I made the Hot Topic joke on purpose because it's true. Like, you walk into Hot Topic now, like every other thing has the Crow on it or Nightmare Before Christmas. Like every other thing.
Yep.
Ike Cthulhu's in the house and says, if the trailer was in this big moment in Big Bad Wolf or Perfect Circle counting bodies, they could have sold me. But this auto-tune shit, no, F no. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is I almost wish they would have just done something different. Here we go with another remake where it's like, okay, maybe it could be something, but since it's trying to be something else, it's not going to resonate and it's not any good.
Yeah.
You know. And that's the other thing I saw in the trailer. It really gives me pause. Like, what's this whole thing? Well, your time to save her is running out. What do you mean? Like, that's never been like this. The only reason there was a ticking time clock.
Yeah, that puzzled me.
Yeah, the only reason there was a ticking time clock in the original film is because they had to kind of rework things because Brandon fucking died.
Yeah.
So they set the whole thing up like he only had to like whatever time at the end of the night to finish his job or whatever, right? Like, because in the comic, from my memory, he just keeps going on, and then there's other crows later on and stuff too. So it's like, yeah, I don't get that. And her saving her soul or something, is that what it's all about? Like
saving who?
Yes.
Yeah. I would think the whole thing is Shelley's waiting for him in heaven. He just never got to heaven because he's got to do this deed first, and then he gets to go. Right? Like that's kind of the way I always perceived it, right?
Are you implying that she can be brought back to life?
I don't know. That's the weird thing. And I don't remember that ever being a part of the comic.
Unless they're talking about saving. I mean, is there a Sarah character?
Unless it's cut. Well, that could be too. I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. There's not even a Sarah character at all. I noticed.
I didn't notice at all. No.
Yeah. That's weird. But yeah. Industrious Bear's in the house and sends in $2 and says, "Where's the whores?" That's when the whores come into town.
Where's the whores? Where's the whores?
Whores.
That's how you say it.
Well, you guys should have said it then. Where's the? He knows. He tells us, but we can't figure out what the hell he's saying, so we don't know where to go. We should be smart and just tell him to show us. Sergeant Point Blank sends us 5 and says, "I still think they should have done a female crow set in the Dark Age." You know, honestly, I would feel less insulted, but I think it would be more of a joke now. But if they'd have done that like 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said shit. Because we had 4 already crappy Crow sequels or 3. What's the difference if you do one as a chick? At least it would have been something different. But now we'd be all over this thing like, oh, of course they turned the Crow into a chick. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm surprised they didn't, to be honest.
That's what I know. Yeah, right.
I mean, leather on a chick with big breasts and, maybe
no, they wouldn't be big breasts. Not
no.
Can you imagine? Honestly, though, if you had like Crow's Bride or something like that, to that respect, kind of the same kind of thing, only it's the reversal of the roles. Instead of Eric coming back, it's Shelley.
Yeah,
and if she was hot.
Yeah, I mean, women would love that too as a cosplay.
Right, but not if they do the kind of thing where they find a woman that doesn't look so good. Then I don't think it would work.
You mean 2024?
Yeah.
and evidently this whatever her name was, FKA twat or whatever the hell it was, I don't remember. The Tessa Thompson stand-in. Does anybody know who the fuck she is?
No.
She's British singer and dancer.
She's a brilliant singer and dancer.
British.
British.
The Empire,
I was gonna say, if she's so fucking brilliant, then why don't she get a name that people remember?
Yeah, FKA. What?
I'd never heard of her. I just looked it up. I have no idea.
I bet she thinks that name is cool.
So does Post Malone.
Right? They can do a duet together. They should do a duet.
In ways that make us feel good. Anybody remember that movie? No.
Walk Hard.
Walk Hard.
I don't remember that
Love
song.
that
from
movie.
Walk Hard. I love
movie.
that movie. Now I feel
and you can always come in
because I
my
love that
back
movie.
door.
What? Oh, see, for me, my base.
That fucking movie's amazing. I don't give a shit.
Underrated. Amazing.
Says. Oh, Dewey, you watch.
I don't care
so
what anybody says. I'm
hard.
15 years old and I got 14 kids and a monkey. I think I'm doing pretty damn good.
I love the scene that he's
You're
like,
always taking her side.
this isn't what it looks like. You know the part that she walks in on him and with the other lady and he goes, it's not what it looks like.
Absolutely.
And then you got
That's
the
the best.
penis scene too. Like, oh my God, like what the fuck?
HR buff and stuff.
Adam Wolford says, in the behind the scenes, Brandon was explaining that Eric had 3 days to set everything right. Okay. The devil felt how good goodness was and how awful it was. That's what it was. Thank you for the line. Did he say that? I don't remember. Because I mean, I know at the end he's dying because of the crow. right? Like, so that's the way it's set
Mhm.
up. But like, I don't ever remember there being a ticking time clock. And the same thing with the original comic. I don't remember there being a ticking time clock either. But I have not read the comic in like 10, 15, 20 years. I've got the special edition, the white cover one. But yeah, I gotta read it. I'm gonna read it again.
Some people in chat are saying that FK or whatever sued Shia LaBeouf or something.
What?
She
being a
did?
terrible actress. A terrible
Oh,
actor.
is that the one that was accusing Shia LaBeouf of shit?
According to someone in the chat, I don't know if it's true.
Who?
Yes. That's...
Remember Shia LaBeouf got like Me Too'd like a few years ago? I don't remember who it was. That maybe it was her that made the accusations against
Somebody
him.
also said she dated Robert Pattinson, which should explain.
Oh,
all
good
that.
lord!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's
Give
into
him a
very
sense of what she
effeminate
likes.
men. Gotcha.
You know what? Pattinson looks like he smells funny.
It likes to sparkle.
Uh-oh.
He looks like the kind of guy who doesn't want to shower. Like he looks like he smells like onions and cheese.
First of all, why do you know what a man smells like that smells like onion and cheese?
I don't, but it's just what I invokes in my brain. Kind of like this movie. It just, the idea of these two junkies, I don't find it romantic. I don't find it like like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I liked the characters in the original film, even though, you know,
You're not inspired by it, and you did
no,
not
like Shelley was this bleeding heart trying to always do stuff. We don't even know what she did for a living. I think she was a florist or something like that. And then Eric, he's in a band trying to do his thing, working I think a day job at like whatever, you know, in construction or something like that. I don't even remember now, but like they're just typical everyday young couple coming up in the 90s, and now they had to turn them into fucking junkies.
Yeah.
Endearing.
They're
that's
living in
the
a really
word.
nice place for junkies in that trailer. I mean, that's a
Well, and that's
clean
the other thing
bedroom,
too.
a hall and stuff. Like, yeah.
And at least in the first film, you can understand why they're fighting for that place. Because I'm sure in that kind of a city, if it's supposed to be kind of like a de facto New York or whatever, to get a nice apartment like that in a building like that is probably really, you know, hard to do. And then they got these people trying to kick them out of the building, right? Like that's your catalyst for everything. And that's all they really added to it that wasn't in the original story. Because the original story was just a random act of violence or whatever, like Batman, right? So it's basically like spiritual Batman, really. That's all it is. And in the end, he's only just going after the people that wronged him. It's not like he really cares otherwise. so
Yeah.
much.
True. It's a revenge story.
Yeah, it's not like he's some major super. But I think that's what I'm trying to remember, because I swear after he finishes his thing, he does kind of. I don't remember where he goes from there. I'm trying to remember, because then they changed after a while, and
I didn't read the comics at all much back then. Did you? Did any of you?
I vaguely remember them. But that's the thing; it's so long because my cousin was really into them.
Yeah,
I remember a TV series, a short-lived one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the short-lived show. And then, of course, we had the sequels, which some of the sequels, like I said, I didn't mind so much because I know in the comics eventually they did move on to other crows. Like it wasn't like it was just, you know,
Well,
Eric.
it's not one. The idea is that the crow is your avatar, and it can resurrect any person, man or female, to get revenge. It's essentially the guy with a gun trope, except it's the supernatural aspect of, for a limited amount of time, the crow is immortal while they're on their quest.
See, my understanding is they're immortal as long as their crows lie. But yeah. But I could be wrong. It's been years since I've read the comics, so somebody could please correct me in the chat. That being said, what was that? Go ahead, Clobby.
I'm saying never read the comic.
Like I said, I'm going to reread the graphic novel before the movie comes out, and the 4K comes out here soon, so it'd actually be good timing for it. But speaking of poor timing, I'm sure y'all been talking about this Beau DeMayo business. We dropped a video here not too long ago, but there's a write-up now on the X-Men 97 animated series. The creators Then and Now talk revival, playing with Disney money.
Oh.
And they discuss Morph's non-binary backlash. They're talking about us, kids.
What? What do you mean our non-binary back?
Non-binary backlash.
We just found out about this crap yesterday. What the hell are they talking about?
No. Morph, the character that we found out 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah.
And this is adding a little bit more credence to where we were saying that they were getting rid of this guy. So because, as Andre put it in our video, he gayed up X-Men too much. But Six did find those fairly provocative pictures. Let's say
What happened?
Oh, you haven't seen those pictures?
No.
Didn't you watch the show?
No. I watched the video.
I don't always watch the show.
I didn't get to see the show, but I did see the video.
This is what Six found.
Hey,
at least I edited them for you guys. I had to see all 2 inches of his terror.
This man likes mirror
Wait a
pictures.
minute, was this on his OnlyFans?
Mike, when did you take these?
Six was it? Yeah, Six said this was on his OnlyFans. Yeah, so there's more speculation going around that maybe most likely he was fired because of that. Because even though they paint his OnlyFans as non-sexual, dude had a motherfucking chubby in that fucking one on the right. It wasn't very chubby, but it was a hard.
How do you know?
Skinny.
Because I've seen the uncensored goddamn pics. Unfortunately, I'm the one who had to put the little thingy on there.
Put the stickers on the picture.
I had to put the sticker on the picture.
You had them in 4K.
God, how no wonder you've been
So he's small and he's standing in front of a camera flexing his muscles.
Tom, are you okay? You want me to
in front of a mirror?
Let me put it to you this way.
He's not even using
It does
a
not
tripod.
help the stereotype.
cuddle the rabbit chicken?
I need a cuddly rabbit chicken.
Didn't the Hollywood Reporter say it was a platonic OnlyFans? Like it was like platonic?
That's where I think that
So
the
that means there was
discrepancy comes in.
It doesn't
There's
look
nothing
very
platonic
platonic
about
based on
those
these
pictures.
pictures.
Well, you both said that at the same
was,
time.
It was non-exploitive. So basically,
Non-expletive, yeah.
yeah, that's
I would
platonic is
say
just emotionless.
This seems kind of exploitive, self-exploitive, but
Yeah.
But remember, unless we find more pictures of him with another person on OnlyFans, he's considered tame by their standards, I think.
That's the thing too. I was saying, like, even this, I don't think is enough for Disney to go, yeah, we got to get rid of this dude, right?
But if he was indeed Victoria Alonso, this is the reason that they can use to get rid of him with a morals
Could be.
clause. They say, listen, this is a family-friendly company here, sir. We didn't want this. Goodbye. We'll see you later. And then meanwhile, maybe they really didn't like the creative direction he took, but instead of making it look like they fired a gay black man, which they wanted, now it looks like they're worried about the children.
Because the children are our future. Teach
They're
them
screwed
well.
every way.
Certainly at Disney, yes.
They
Script
screwed
Doctor, is that common for people who have sexy pics online to possibly be jettisoned from the industry like that?
I mean, what's her name? Emma Thorne or some Bella Thorne is an
Bella,
OnlyFans.
oh, yeah.
I was gonna say almost every actress has had their fucking nudes leaked.
Crap. The character that plays Johnny Lawrence's ex-wife, the mother of Robbie, she has an OnlyFans.
Why does that not surprise me with the character?
Well, a lot of female actors that are getting infrequent work and they're over the age of 38 tend to go into that area because they're playing into the audience that wanted to see them in that way on film. That never happened. So they supplement their income that way. Unless the studio has that stipulated into their contract as a morality clause, then they're free to do whatever they want, really. So Disney probably had a broad morality clause with all their hires, and Disney strikes me as the type of company that would be very, very controlling of all talent in their employ, because if you know anything about the Mickey Mouse Club and the way they shepherded their Disney starlets, which would be actors that were under the age of 18, they were so far up their butts it would be considered a sex crime. So I mean, that's just the way Disney operates. So this seems like a very convenient way to get disposed of this guy if there's other controversies surrounding the show.
Okay, and then just for clarity purposes, asking for a friend, Tom, we don't have any of those policies here, right?
Maybe.
Depends how much you pay Tom.
I don't know. I don't make those choices.
Asking for a friend. I'm kidding.
Well, I didn't want to jump to this part of it right away. I was actually going to come back around to it, but that's all right. Since we're already on that topic, they're already starting to get a little backlash. Oh, you got to run?
Yeah, I got to run, mate. Thanks, everybody. It's been fun. I just wanted to, before I go, I want to say fans fear the decision will affect show quality and enjoyment. Really? That's the only thing, the only decision we think. Really? That's it. That's the only one. Anyway, thanks.
Yeah.
Everyone. Have a great night. See
All right,
you all
dude.
next time. Take care.
You're good, man.
Cheers. Bye.
Take care. All right. So with this, I like I said, I was going to come back around to this, but since we already kind of broached the topic, let's jump right to this, and then we'll go back to what the other people said about the other stuff. But that's not good for the show. This says Kevin Feige gets backlash after firing DeMayo ahead of the premiere. Now we knew this was going to happen. We predicted this, and this is where it's like this is where they're playing whatever you want to call game in the press, right? Because they flat out said they fired him, and they went after it in a way that it was pretty clear that he is gone. He is no longer part of the show. This was not over, some kind of disagreement. At least it didn't sound like it. But
creative differences,
which is usually the term they like to use, which it could very well be. And I think it's either something bad is about to come out, like we were talking yesterday, even more so than this, because I don't think this OnlyFans is bad enough. I agree with you, Script, and whoever
Maybe
else
it's
said
the tip of the iceberg.
That's what I'm thinking. Not just in a punny way either.
Like, anybody can go in and click, yes, I'm 18. I mean, and then you have all the backroom.
I still
chat,
don't think that's enough,
private
dude.
chats.
But well, yeah, there's the background chat. Here's the thing: is I don't even know if it has anything to do with that. For me, for them to go after and out there and fire a black dude who is
Black
gay,
gay dude. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say black. Oh, we gotta remember, we gotta get all the checkbox names
because they know they're going to
out.
get backlash. They know it,
Mm-hmm.
but they can weather it for as long as it can take because of blank. Well, what is blank? Blank is either he diddled somebody he shouldn't have, exposed himself to somebody he shouldn't have, which clearly we can see already, or just something along those lines. Because that's the only thing that I can think of that is remotely bad enough. Otherwise, if it turns, because I'm going to tell you right now, I think you're right, Price. I think you said this. If it turns out they use this as a scapegoat, if it's just for that one dick pic, then we know damn well they got rid of him because of the quality of the show, because that is not enough for Disney. As we've been pointing out here, there's tons of stars who've done this. This is nothing new. The way Disney is right now, maybe it was Disney 10 years ago, but not Disney anymore. They don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
He could probably stick that dick into some kid's face and they wouldn't give a shit. That's
Sadly,
the fucking
they
problem
wouldn't.
now. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even a joke anymore, right? Like, it's, I say it all the time. Disneyfied used to mean sanitized and family friendly. Now Disneyfied means somebody's probably going to suck some dick and it'll probably be another dude. That's what Disneyfied means now. So
put a chick in it and make it lame and gay.
Lame and gay, exactly. So I think the way that this is rolling and what we've been hearing from WDW Pro and some other things, they're going to go into overhaul mode on this show because I think he gated up too much. So I think it's kind of what you were saying, Price, is that this is just the cover story because they had to get rid of him, and the dick pics are bad enough that that's the morality clause and all that kind of shit. Yeah,
they're also bad dick pics, right? Like he put,
I mean, he's got nothing to show off here.
It doesn't really tell us anything absolutely, but he put no effort into that. There's nothing even remotely artistic about it. He didn't try to cover anything up. He just stood in front of a mirror with a cheap camera and turned the flash on.
He failed to impress you, Cece.
Oh my god!
Yeah. It's not impressive, but that's the kind of low level energy that you usually associate with douche bro moves. So it doesn't give me confidence that he has a very discerning ability with what might come out of those pictures.
Did Six send all of you the uncensored
Yes, I'm over here. I'm over here.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, I just saw the pics right now on my DMs. I went over to X and checked my DMs. Ah!
She didn't send them to me. She didn't send them to me.
She said these to me yesterday, and I shit you not. I'm just sitting here going, period, enter, period, enter, period. So I don't want to see that shit on my screen no more.
Oh, God, I cannot see it.
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful.
He's not even impressive, right? Because even a guy will sit there and go, like, if it's a big ass dude, be like, motherfucker's packing, right? Like, you have to kind of just acknowledge that is impressive.
We're not all Brandon Lee.
No, we're not all Brandon Lee, though. But like this dude, I'm sorry. Like I said, he is not helping the stereotype. I'm not that impressive. I'm not out there putting my whacker dong dudes out on the fucking interwebs. Why should you do it too, man? That's a dumbass move. That's a dumbass
So,
move. Because
okay.
you're working on a kid's show, first of all, you dumbass. Because that's the other
No,
thing.
it is dumb.
Yeah.
That's another thing that fucking, I think Script pointed out yesterday on the show. He made this fucking thing after the fact.
Yeah.
He didn't
If
make
this
this
was a-
OnlyFans like 5 years ago. It's just catching up with him now. He started this after he got the fucking show.
So if this show had a quality issue, do you think they didn't actually
Damn it, 6.
look at the show until recently? Because you gotta remember, when it comes to animated shows, they get a lot of the work done ahead of time, like really ahead of time. So my guess is, for the longest amount of time, they just said, okay, this guy checks off the boxes. We don't need to look at the show. We're just gonna think, okay, he's part of the demographic. We're just going to release the show as is and take his word that whatever he says is good is good. And then all of a sudden, then this morph thing becomes like I guess you could say, an internet controversy. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what all the fuss is about. And even though the show's about a month away, and then they see the quality or lack thereof. And yeah, maybe that is what it is. This show is not good. That actually sounds, I may have created the scenario in my head. They probably took him at his word that everything is fine about the show until they actually sat down and looked at it and realized, oh crap, this is not good. And now they had to reverse course even a week before the show comes out.
But they wanted him. They wanted his thing.
Yeah, initially they wanted him.
When he went there, they said, you're black and gay, and we want that in our show. So, I mean, isn't that what they asked for? Even with all of his dick pics and stuff, isn't that what they wanted?
And I think that's initially what they want. They brought him in because he checked out the boxes, and because he checked out the boxes, they figured that his word was law as far as what he said was fine with the show. They feel like, okay, he says it's fine, we're good. Because I feel like if they're canceling him over a quality issue, maybe they didn't look at this ahead of time. They straight up just took his word for it that everything was fine, and they just now sort of like, oh boy, this is not good. And I think they've already greenlighted for seasons 2 and 3. If I remember correctly, they've greenlighted for at least a second season. So this is their way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Script. So if there is a quality issue, assuming that that's the reason, that's the only thing that sounds plausible, is that they had to have finally actually had some proper last minute oversight and looked at it. You can't tell me that they looked at back then and said everything is fine. Now hold on, wait.
Don't say looked at it again.
Everything is fine. Everything is wrong. Yeah.
If the man can't put any effort into a dick pic, he probably didn't put any effort into the show.
Well, he put some effort into it, all right, but the composition's not all that great. I wouldn't trust this guy as a director at all. I'll tell you that right now.
That's what I mean. It's like, if he has no eye for quality, like, what do I expect him to do with the show?
I mean, of course, we can only imagine who's actually giving the blowback on this firing. I'm sure it's the usual suspects.
Well, did Kevin Feige provide a quote in this article, or?
I don't think they have responded yet.
No.
I was gonna say, I feel like we would have all at least heard that Kevin Feige would have had a response to this by now.
No, I don't think they have. I think they've been completely silent on this.
No one's made a statement at all from Disney or him?
No, they were asked by THR and stuff, and they said no comment or whatever.
They've learned from Gina Carano, so instead of saying anything, they're just they're saying nothing.
Well, that's the other thing too, is it makes you wonder how bad or what is the deal, because they stood by Jonathan Majors for so long too, right? Publicly, at least. They didn't actually say that he was gone or done until after the fact.
Well, with Jonathan Majors, they had a lot of movies in the air that he potentially was going to be in.
True.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the long big name villain. So
right.
It was a little bit of a different stake.
In the case of this guy, they basically kind of like in Dr. Evil's underground lair, they can just press a button and make him go away. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing at stake here. He doesn't appear on camera. They don't need to recast anybody.
That's very true.
That's not fair, Six. My computer doesn't have a camera, and I don't want those.
I ain't sending one. You want to look? What?
See what she said?
I was going to thank Six for not sending me those pictures.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay, so here's actually
here's
actually the response from, looks like Brad Winterburn and Jake Rano. So this is probably the closest you're going to get to Kevin Feige. News broke that Marvel had fired DeMayo last week. and the company notified cast and crew he was no longer part of the show. The writer-producer had finished all of his work on seasons 1 and 2 of X-Men 97, but no reason was given for his firing, leaving many fans wondering what had happened just weeks ahead of the premiere. So he did excellent work writing seasons 1 and 2, and I can't wait for fans to see the series. Winterbaum says the entire team came together to create a revival worthy of X-Men's 60-year legacy, from Stan to Jack to Claremont to Leewalds.
Mark and Julia Leewald.
Yeah, that's what we're talking. Yeah, we all truly were standing on the shoulders of giants. DeMayo had been, so he didn't answer the question at all.
Nope, not one bit.
DeMayo had been active on his personal Instagram sharing behind. They just go into the same thing we were just talking about. His Bonely fans. Bonely fans.
Wow.
That's pretty clever.
Oh, you can't make this shit up, kids.
Will the writing of X-Men 97 be that inventive?
And he was profiled in Out magazine in 2022 as the sexy gay Marvel and showrunner to know.
Wow. What?
He'd also written Moon Knight and had worked on the long-delayed upcoming Blade. So yeah, I mean, clearly, whatever, unless something comes out, this is going to be used as ammo by DeMayo to probably come after them. But
why is Out magazine going after a showrunner no one's heard of? Like,
because he's
have
out.
They really run out of all the gay people in America, and they have to go to this guy. That's
Isn't that how it works?
Demographics.
Isn't that how it works? Script? They build you up, aka hired him because of his demographics. But when it comes time to break you down, they will break you down worse than they than they can ever be about it. That's how we've seen it happen with so many celebrities. It seems like writers now are not exempt from that. They'll prop you up at the beginning, but when something goes wrong, they will break you down very quickly.
But writers are never propped up. That's the problem.
Yeah, they shouldn't be, but this guy, they are like,
no, this one that they like
checks off all the boxes. We're
right.
so glad we got this guy.
The only press we've really seen him do is not just referencing this Out magazine, but a YouTube panel show.
Yes,
I mean, that's
speaking of
pushing him over into the main spotlight to be considered a prop up.
Well, speaking of press, he was supposed to do an interview for this very article.
Yeah,
it got canceled 2 days after it was initially scheduled, which was initially postponed because he was under the weather, in quotations. So my guess is this goes about 2 weeks back, this whole ordeal. And what happened 2 weeks back?
He still could have given
the
them
trailer dropped.
Ah, yes. He could have still given them a package.
I see what you did there.
He was either under the weather or on the land.
He gave him a package, all right.
I think here's my conspiracy theory. I think after the backlash from the trailers and the leak of what the show was really going to be, they freaked the fuck out. As Price said, they found a reason to fire him. Because we're going to hear season 2 is going to be completely reworked.
Oh yeah, considering that they said
and delayed.
Was attached to season 2,
its premiere will be delayed a year.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that a delay being happening. They'll say reshoots, rewrites, the whole night. Sorry, not reshoots, but revamp it because they can't reshoot a cartoon. But you get the purpose. They got to retool it.
Well, yeah, they haven't. Well, here's the thing: is they've only animated the first season.
Yes.
They've only started voice work for the second season. They haven't done any actual animation. Voice work can change pretty goddamn quickly.
No, they probably got like keyframe storyboards already set.
And that's about it.
And remember, this is done through a computer. It's digital animation. It's not legit 2D. So in some cases, you would not be surprised to have a couple of stunt guys in motion capture suits doing all the stuff they need to, and then they just throw in a 2D model over top of it and sync it up. And that usually only takes a week to do. And that's
my point is there's plenty of time to fix season 2.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
If that's the case. So DeMayo didn't attend the premiere. Even before he was fired, DeMayo wasn't stranger to controversy. Leading up to the show last year, he deleted his Twitter account due to fan backlash over claims of whitewashing the mutant Sunspot. I kind of vaguely remember something like this. Who was portrayed in the comics by biracial Brazilian Guy Agostini. A light-skinned Brazilian actor was cast to voice the hero, which drew some fans' ire. Similar backlash occurred when DeMayo revealed that Morph, a popular shapeshifter from the animated series, was reimagined to be non-binary in X-Men 97.
That's not true. Morph was never popular.
Yeah, he was only like what, 8 or 9 episodes script.
Yeah,
I love how they just kind of.
He was invented to be killed off and be Wolverine's only friend, and then
He came
for
back
some
later
reason the
for a little
writers
bit.
brought him back.
Right.
Not only did they bring him back, if you actually look at some of the episodes, I think he was hitting on a few girls too. So he's definitely straight as an arrow. But you know, it's modern times, so we gotta change that because they did the Iceman.
You guys remember my little theory about Morph in this and Wolverine? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Go
On the original Empire thing that we got 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was, roughly, it had said that not only is he non-binary, but he has a complicated relationship with Wolverine, and I think it also hinted that this is not the original Morph.
Yeah, his character is based on a character from the comic books named Changeling, which is funny because DC technically had a Changeling as well, except sort of, but his name is actually Beast Boy, Gar Logan. But yeah, that
Marvel
is based off
was
a character.
many years before he was called that. Yeah.
My theory for this show is that he is the child of Morph and Wolverine. And you guys are going, what do you mean? They are going to say that at some point morphed into Jean Grey, tricked Wolverine into sleeping with him as Jean Grey. They conceived a child, and this child is the new Morph. That's
really
why he and
weird.
Wolverine have a complicated relationship in this show.
Be surprised by that.
And that child was conceived like 2 decades prior to the X-Men 90s series, I guess.
Yes, whatever.
I would not be surprised.
Well, he's been around, so whatever.
I dare them to release that.
Oh man.
I'm probably wrong, but because everybody, and the reason I say this is because everybody's jumping because they're like, oh, he's non-binary and he's got a complicated relationship with Wolverine. That means they're gonna fuck or whatever. I'm like, maybe, but you're thinking too simple. See, because I'm thinking they're trying to, and the reason I say this is I think they're trying to solidify this idea that more people that change their body or shapeshifters can actually not only shape their bodies, but they can change their actual sex.
Yes.
Because now that they've changed what's his face into a butt baby, Nightcrawler in the comics.
That feeds into the narrative of actually believing that you are something that you weren't.
I hope I'm fucking wrong.
I worry that you're right, Tom. That's what I'm scared of is that you're right. You know, I would say if I felt any different, but I feel like you're right. I think you're right on the money.
And I was like sitting here watching the new trailer thing from today, and he got Wolverine bopping in there, and he's like, "Daddy's home" or something like that, and I'm like, "Oh shit."
You know, if I heard Daddy's home in 19, I thought like, oh, they're just having a Top Gun moment. But nowadays, in this stage, you're thinking, oh, great, they're gonna get a bunch of dudes together for an orgy.
Well, there was an episode where I think Morph turned into Jean once because people were using that.
Yeah.
Well, the shapeshifters turn into everybody. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
What's weird is that we never got 100% rules on that on the mutant side of things because nothing of that nature ever really needed to be addressed. You'd always just assume whatever their default form was the one that they preferred. That's what it was.
Well, you're right. It probably wouldn't have been Jean Grey. It'd have just been some other woman in his past. You're right.
Yuriko, maybe.
Yeah, something like that to where it'd have been X amount of years ahead of time. Yeah. Because this Morph also looks like he's kind of young, like he's a teenager. See, that's the other thing. So is he in this picture? Yeah, see back there. So I don't know. But we'll see here. Anyway, they didn't really address the whole backlash here that what I see. I mean, they talk a little bit more about DeMayo, but it was stuff that was said before he was fired.
Well, I mean, the reason why they probably don't, talk about the backlash because, I mean, as far as I'm aware, it seems like it's in the damn internet. It was. I mean,
it's in the damn title.
Yeah, they do mention it here, but it didn't really go beyond the internet. Like, even the amount of enthusiasm, or I guess you could say, or lack thereof, more people were talking about Wakanda Forever at my place of employment than they were about this show. And if anything, I know one guy at my work, and he's only given a shot just because he grew up loving the original cartoon, but he's aware of the current social stigma of shows. He's still kind of like, I'm going to hope that this is good. And if it's not, then, I'll bow out after 3 or 4 episodes. But he says he'd be even more mad if it's sucky, because he say he's always dreamed since he was a teenager of the show coming back. And they say he'll basically dreamed of all that for nothing. Which I'm like, oh, dude, you better start prepared now, because I think those dreams are about to be shattered.
Well, Project Cambrian says, Tom, my 7-year-old heard you. If they make Wolverine dumb, cancel that video. He's half listening, but that's his reactioning.
Mm-hmm.
Project Cambrian, I just have one thing to say. Why is your 7-year-old listening? I say F words constantly. Night Raven says, shapeshifter is now code for trans or non-binary to Disney. Yeah, I think so. That's kind of what I'm hinting at here. Yes. Then we've got Tim Hayes in the house, who's been a member for 29 months. Thank you for that. Dearest has been here for 2 months. It says they fired him to protect the narrative of black. They'll just say, oh, he's mixed. He's mixed. And that part didn't mix.
And he was adopted.
Oh, yes, that's true, too. Mikey, are you here? Adam Wolford sends in $2. It says, hey, Mikey, it's Armand. He's not here. He had to step away, but we'll save that for him for when he gets back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so what else was there in the news today, guys? I mean,
I saw a tweet going around. I don't think that there's any merit to it, but I did see a thing earlier about how when Kevin Feige was talking about how they're only gonna prop up bigger movies, but there's a tweet going around, and I tried looking into it to see if it was like truly legitimate, because how Kevin Feige said he was going to focus on bigger characters a few weeks back when it came to addressing Marvel's failures. No, I'm finding the tweet right now. I'm going to actually send it to you right now. I can't seem to find any like direct evidence of it, but it's basically, it seems like it's an indirect way of saying that the Eternal sequel is officially now to go. I can't believe they even
I saw
to begin
that.
with. Yeah, I don't know if you want to consider it news. And the only reason why I didn't send it earlier is because I couldn't find any merit to it. Like, it just seemed like it's possible basing off of Feige saying that they need to focus on more project, but it wasn't really direct with its examples. Well, sorry, Feige wasn't. So I'm like, well, this list right here is very direct in what movies aren't happening. I didn't even know Captain Marvel 3 was even being entertained. But I guess whatever it was, it ain't happened now.
Well, I'm sure it was being entertained until the movie came out. Yeah. Same thing with Ant-Man 4.
It's
like, that's what I was going to say. I'm surprised we're hearing about any of these projects, but I'm not surprised at the same time at what's being talked about as far as what's been canceled.
Yeah.
No, it's not surprising, but at the same time, like, so I'm like, okay, they're going to cancel these projects, but they gotta keep Soy Cheese sequel coming out.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, they gotta keep his coming out.
Did you hear that Iron Fist is gonna be in that?
Oh, they're gonna destroy.
Oh my god!
They already did that. Right.
They already ruined him.
I know. They ruined him in the show and the comics.
And
they're gonna ruin him again. That's all it is. He's a punching bag. Luke Cage's show got him right then more than the rest of his own show got him right.
It did. But didn't last long. And
no, because it's that one episode. But
I hated Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah, that
garbage.
Soichi was trash. Absolute trash.
Yes.
I remember because I when I started expanding, I guess you could say my Marvel horizons of like Spidey, Daredevil, the FF. One of the first things I was looking at was Power Man Iron Fist. I thought, oh, that's a cool concept. Guy who's practically a brick teaming up with a guy who knows martial arts in Harlem. That sounds fun. I thought those were really cool comics. And I was like, oh, sweet. I'm going to see them live action. I really like these two together. And I was so devastated watching the Iron Fist show. I was absolutely devastated. And then I remember thinking, what was the issue? Was it the writing? Was it Finn Jones? And then I saw Finn Jones on that one episode he did for Luke Cage season 2.
That was cool.
And it was cool. and you see he had a completely different attitude. He was a lot more like Danny Rand in the comics. He was a lot closer to that. I'm like, okay, why didn't they get these writers from this episode to pen Iron Fist? Because whoever wrote this clearly they did their homework, because I was like, okay, someone definitely understands Danny Rand, who wrote the show. That's when I realized it wasn't a Finn Jones issue. Now, I still don't see Finn Jones, even with a better script, as my ideal Danny Rand, but at least I could say you could see how much better he is with good work given to him. You could see how much better he truly is.
Yeah. I remember the other story now we were going to talk about.
Go for it.
Yep, let's do it.
Patty Jenkins says, I'm now back doing Star Wars movie Rogue Squadron after Wonder Woman 3 fell apart. I owe Lucasfilm a draft.
I don't believe
Lucasfilm's going to make shit.
Yeah, you got to make it.
Doesn't mean anything. This is just we now live in a reality where if you're an actor or director, you can just tell the press whatever about Lucasfilm, and they have no way really of understanding if it's true or not. Like if I was on the red carpet now and a reporter walked up to me, I would say, I'm working on a script for Kathleen Kennedy now for Star Wars. It's all hush hush. It's a new movie. You'll hear about it soon. And I don't think any reporter is going to even question it. They'll just go print it.
Yeah.
And that's sadly, and that's the problem I'm starting to notice with the investors. They'll hear all these announcements and they'll just get excited off of that. They'll just get excited off of that. And then it kind of brings it back to what Gary from Nerd Rock has mentioned, that we're starting to see an issue with low information investors, the same way we've had in the other sphere about low information voters. We have the issue with investors. These people are not putting the connection that, hey, she has said all these times, all these projects are coming, and most of them haven't come out. And the few that have been on TV, and almost all of them outside the Mandalorian have bombed. Why aren't they making that connection?
I'll tell you why. Do you know that when Rogue One came out, some people didn't understand that it wasn't tied to the thing with Daisy Ridley? And they were confused because there was another British woman and they didn't know where it fits chronologically. Some people don't really understand things. They're not like us. You know what I mean? Think that you're an investor. They just say, oh, there's the Rangers of the New Republic, Rogue Squadron. We got this. She made money at DC Studios. Now she's going to make money here. And everybody says, wow. And then they go home and they eat their whatever, they caviar or whatever it is. And they don't think about it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not saying not all the investors are caviar, but you know what I mean?
Your reason is sound, and I believe 100% what you're saying, but I also blame them for it because it shows you they're not really trying to understand where all these project announcements are coming from, and thinking, okay, hey, she's announced all stuff. A lot of it is, once again, not seeing the light of day. We should try to make a connection here. Yes, they don't understand these things like we do, but someone should say, hey, you have failed with these things, whether they come out and they bomb or they don't come out, period. Like,
that's the only time
that connection.
That's the only time that they start asking questions. When there's so many failures and so many box office failures, at the end, somebody asks questions. Aside from that, some of these investors are people, they don't watch Star Wars. They don't know the difference between these movies. They just want to look at some balance sheet. They want Bob Iger to come out and sell them a used car, and that's it.
And that's fine, though. That's fine. Talking about your used car pitch, okay, fine. But you're thinking, okay, if you're an investor, you want as much money as you want to get. And if you look at everything that's coming out and money's continuing to tank, wouldn't you think to yourself, okay, why is this stuff continuing to tank? What is going on here? Because I want more money out of this. And right now, what they're doing right now for the last few years is not bringing us more money, because it seems like investors are some of the few people that I guess you could say are some of the last people that seem to still care about the money, unlike the Bob Igers of the world and the Kathleen Kennedys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, you would think, okay, because think about it, if these guys were putting out things that people actually wanted, I'm not saying for them to make that specific connection, but at least think about, like, okay, why is this happening? But no one's even questioning why. They only have to say, hey, maybe get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. They just need to ask the question, why? That's a simple question. Just simply ask why. But we're not even doing that. So, but I guess no one knows.
Another sad truth is that a lot of these investors, even if it's the most awful movie in the world, and it makes money, they don't care. You know what I mean? There's no quality control. None of this stuff interests them. They just want to know about the bottom line. And that's part of the reason why Disney also makes so many excuses with all these failures and always spins it, and it's become like a political game, really. They just need to keep the investors thinking that there's money flowing in from somewhere, and even if the movie's bomb or whatever it is, they continue all of their spins.
Man, you would think at least one of like, hey, you have been saying this for a long time. Like, not one of them records it and says, okay, March of 2022, this is when Bob Iger says this is going to happen, and then play it back to him in November 2024, being hypothetical here. Hey, Bob, right over here, you said this back in this day. We got on record of you saying this. And so far, nothing has changed. What gives?
I mean, you're welcome to try.
Let's get on.
Investor, I would record Bob Iger every opportunity I could just to prove.
I don't know if they legally can, but
that's a problem. But you're probably right.
Let's see what she actually had to say about this, because this is actually kind of funny. Let me switch into Femi voice here.
When I left Star Wars to do Wonder Woman 3 and I started working on that, we talked about, well, maybe I'll come back to Star Wars after Wonder Woman 3. So we started a deal for that to happen. When Wonder Woman 3 went away, Lucasfilm and I were like, oh, we got to finish this deal. We finished the deal as the strike was beginning. So I owe a draft to Star Wars. So we will see what happens there. Who knows?
Are you killing me?
Oh, there's more.
Yeah.
They have a hard job in front of them. What's the first movie they're going to do? They have their other directors who have been working. But I am now back on Rogue Squadron. We'll see what happens. We need to get it where we're both still super happy with it.
Oh my God. This is going to get made right after Ryan Johnson movie. Right after Ryan Johnson's movie.
You know what it sounds like to me? And this is the weird thing, is usually it's Kathleen Kennedy who's firing everybody. This almost sounds like this is Kathleen Kennedy's going to make this happen come hell or high water. And like she's like, if you want to have this happen, we have to get this deal done before the strike. Because I guarantee you, Bob Iger and the rest of the crew, once they saw what Wonder Woman 2 did, they're like, oh, fuck no, we don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
But her story doesn't line up with the facts that I know of personally, which is that she
go
turned
ahead.
in a script months after the announcement. She and her writing partner turned in the script for Rogue Squadron. And the scuttlebutt around town was that it was one of the worst scripts Lucasfilm had ever seen. And then they stopped taking Patty Jenkins's calls. And this would also be shortly around the time when right before they finished principal photography, I think, on Indiana Jones. So that was a long time ago. And there's no reason for them to have worried about getting a contract in place before the strike, because when the announcement was made where she's, at the Air Force Base rollerblading towards the X-Wing, contract would have already been starting in negotiations. And it doesn't take 2 years to negotiate a contract for a feature film from a director that was coming off of a hot success like Wonder Woman initially, and then had her day and date Wonder Woman 84 in theaters and HBO Max. Lucasfilm wouldn't care that. They just get it done because they're going with the trend. They're going with the hot ticket item. So I think she's lying here.
I think she's lying, but there's one other thing that could have happened, and this is a possibility. Maybe something along the lines of this Rogue Squadron thing. It's just sitting on a shelf. Nobody's running to make it, so it's pretty much a dead project. I don't see anybody else stepping in. I don't see anybody talking about it. Now, Patty Jenkins is kind of in a crappy situation. She's not doing Wonder Woman 3. That whole situation with James Gunn was a bad look for her. And now maybe and that too. And she's not getting work. And she's not in. If her star was bright, now it's exactly the opposite. So let's say I'm her manager or agent or whatever it is. I call somebody over at Lucasfilm and I just say something along the lines of, if she writes a screenplay, will you read it?
She already did that though.
No, a new one, a new draft. We're gonna do a new draft and we're gonna send it to you. Will you read it? And then if I'm at Lucasfilm, even if this is people scratching each other's backs, sure, you can send us and we'll read it. Doesn't mean anybody will do anything with it. It doesn't mean it changes the status of the project. But now
kind of like the Ta-Nehisi Coates deal,
yeah. But now when she's on the red carpet, she says, "Well, I do owe them a draft. Yeah, Kathy's waiting. I owe
Well,
Kathy
here's
a
my
draft.
question for script, and this is coming from more from the writing side of things, because I don't think she ever had a deal yet set for directing her greenlit movie. I think is what's going on here. I
She was
think,
only hired to turn in a draft on the
yeah,
condition that she would be directing. So that's up to Lucasfilm to choose to pull the trigger or not.
exactly. And that was my next question. Would she still be under, even if she like kind of like the Ta-Nehisi Coates business, she could still be under contract to deliver another version of the draft of the script, but that doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean they have to make it, right? Because as they say in here, it's not even on the schedule anymore.
She wrote this before the new MBA for the WGA, which means that she is not obligated and she's not under contract after she turns in her first draft. There's no second step guarantee unless she managed to negotiate that initially with the initial deal. And if she's talking about making negotiations before the WGA strike, then that would suggest to me that that's a whole new contract with a whole new set of stipulations that had nothing to do with whatever the previous draft that she turned in.
Okay, so let me give you a scenario. Let's say that she did that original draft that they rejected, and they said, yes, you can do a rewrite, because that's what she said in that one tweet back when, right? Remember when everybody was saying, oh, it's done, it's done, it's done. She says, no, I still owe him a draft. What if she was told you have to get that draft in before the strike, or this is definitely not happening, which is what she was kind of referring to there. So she brought in her second draft just before the strike. But is there any way she would be contracted in any way for 3 drafts just up front, or another draft after that, or how would that work?
Only if she negotiated it, and Disney
That's what I was
doesn't do
saying.
that.
Yeah, okay.
That's the thing.
All
Like
right,
right
well-
now, if Disney were to hire me to write a draft of Rogue Squadron, I am guaranteed to do a second draft if they have notes. Guaranteed.
Okay, so that's what I was there. That
She was
kind
not,
of
because she did that before that.
Okay, that was kind of where circling back to my question. Then, yeah, would there any be reason for her to have to do a third draft? I guess was the answer. That answers my question. Then.
Because she stipulated, at least in this quote here, that she tried to do the deal. She made the deal before the WGA strike, which means that's under the previous MBA, which does not promise a second step, which would be another draft to be turned in or done if the studio had notes.
Unless somebody like KK was nice enough to give her another contract before the strike or whatever, basically.
Or unless somehow Patty Jenkins was able to negotiate that in her initial deal with Lucasfilm.
This seems like a political handshake thing. I don't think that there's any contract. I think that they said, I don't know if the other one is expired or whatever it is, but I think that somebody has allowed her possibly to say this, or maybe not even allowed her to, but maybe somebody has said, yes, you can write a script and we'll look at it. I think this is all flimsy, and I don't believe this is a serious art. Like, this is serious information that's going to leak.
It's funny
anything.
how she says she owes them a draft. That's the only thing. It's the wording of that. Yeah,
It sounds to me like she's pulling a Leslie Headland, which is Disney put out a press release saying we are not taking any unsolicited stuff or solicited stuff for new projects. We're going to work in house. Leslie Headland does a pitch, and then leaks to the press that she did a pitch. And instead of Lucasfilm saying no, they decided to push through a show that everyone in town was like, what the heck are you doing? You literally told every writer, every manager, every agent that you're not taking any pitches for OWAs for any of your properties because you want to fix the problem that's going on. And this is March of 2020. So it's really weird. Maybe Patty Jenkins is pulling that so that she can get this Rogue One done because it worked for Leslie Headland.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Anybody else got any takes on this?
Brave enough to deny it, then she's probably going to be able to walk through those doors and take this all the way to completion.
I'll repeat what I said on Mr. H's show earlier. I think that Lucasfilm is so incompetent, it doesn't matter what comes out of this chick's mouth.
That's probably true. I'd say you're right. I mean, the well runs deep, really deep. We probably couldn't even, the well runs so deep we couldn't see the end of it, no matter how hard we try to look for the end.
We can't bank on anything related to, if history has taught us anything, it's that we cannot bank on anything that we hear about anything related to Lucasfilm. Not when a show's going to be released, not when a movie's going to happen, not when hell, we can have projects in production with everybody in place and the directors still get fired before the damn thing even hits post-production.
Those are really beautifully well-said words from the greatest YouTuber. I agree.
Oh, God, you guys stop with this YouTube talk right now.
Speaking of, Adam Wolford says with $2, hey, Mikey, it's Armand.
Okay,
So
but
that's
who is
Armand.
I don't know the reference. I don't.
You do too.
No, I don't. How would I
Chris
know?
Nicholson says with $5, how is it studios still sees quality and marketability as competing virtues? All the top grossing movies in history were generally crowd pleasers. Yeah, I mean, I guess related to this subject here, I mean, you have arguably what was the biggest franchise ever before Marvel, and it was destroyed. And frankly, at this point, the fact that we were just kind of like, yeah, whatever, we don't believe this shit, right? Like, we don't even care, even if it was true. That's how like apathy has set in for the Star Wars brand. But I mean, as far as like overall in general, yeah, I've been saying this for a while. None of this makes sense outside of they get money from outside investors and stuff. But at some point, sooner or later, the money's got to dry up. And you can't keep trying to force people to go see things they don't want to see, or you're going to have exactly what's happened to Disney. And that is everything they put out is trash. And not only that, nobody goes to see it. And it's even infected movies like Madam Web and so on, right? And that's where I've said, you know, it's up to James Gunn now to save comic book movies. Otherwise, they're done. They're done.
Even his chances are very debatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to be wrong, but we've already documented very well on here our reasons why we find that to be very hotly debatable. But hey, we'll know come July of 2025. So basically, in 16 months, we will know. And boy, I look forward to what conversation we all have. That's gonna be, if you want to talk about,
we will be getting a commercial for.
I'll probably know it the first trailer, Nick.
Yeah, we'll be getting a trailer this November, most likely, or a teaser at the very least.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure if I had to give an educated guess, November or December will be when we get our first.
With Man of Steel, I only needed the first picture I saw from what he looked like.
Yeah, that was the one in front of the bank vault. That was like, ugh.
The bank vault picture with that horrible costume and the dark look at the just like no.
So yeah, we'll get a
the
trailer
stupid things
November.
out of Snyder's mouth too. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
we'll get a teaser in November. We'll get a Super Bowl trailer that following winter.
Yeah,
and then it'll be the super hype machine going into full effect, and we'll be able to get a good indication of what type of film we're getting. And remember, James Gunn, for all the comedy that he does know how to do drama. He does know how to do emotional things. There was not a dry eye in the house when in Guardians 2 when Mick Roker's character.
That's right.
Yondu. Give him credit for that.
The Yondu death was six.
Yeah, it was a really good scene.
Well, not only that,
script. That's a really good scene. I've
told this story before, and I always find it funny when my cousin, because like, you know, during family events, we'd all talk about movies and stuff. Well, prior to that, we were all like, "Yeah, go see Guardians of the Galaxy. It's hilarious. It's like Star Wars, but a comedy, you know, kind of thing." Sounding like the next family event, my cousin comes bitching at us. You sons of bitches said that Guardians of the Galaxy was fun as hell and I would laugh my ass off and all this shit and blah, 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 blah. Within 5 minutes of the movie, I'm bawling my fucking brains out. Because the mom dies in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, it is sad. Yeah.
Why couldn't you just,
it does start off pretty sad.
Like the movie, but she was giving a shit, you know, like she's like,
yeah,
it's funny, it's a fucking comedy. And the first thing I walk into is Magnolias.
Yeah, good point. You forget about that, but it opens on a kind of a bummer.
That's
note.
What makes it so much more touching, especially the Yondu one, right? Like that.
Not
one.
only that.
Oh God, yeah, that was terrible.
Star-Lord and Gamora love story in the first one, the way that worked out, that was pretty legit.
But I mean, God, when Yondu's like, you know, he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy.
Your daddy.
Like that whole thing, like it was just like, just gets you even thinking about it. It's just like,
and then take a look at the Christmas special one, right?
Right.
That's pretty sad.
I'm telling you right now, he may have his sense of humor, but he knows how to pull on a heartstring. He knows how to make connections. So he's already leagues ahead of everyone that Warner Brothers has used for the last 20 years.
He's the only best shot we got.
Their last best hope.
He's our only hope. He's our Luke Skywalker at this point. We got nothing left. He's it.
Yeah, I don't doubt his capability. It's his willingness to do it, to do Superman properly.
Nolan ain't coming back, kids.
Good.
I'm just saying, don't get it in your head like some magic director's going to go, you know what? I think it's time I go back to superheroes or something. No. I don't even think Jon Favreau would make another one anymore.
I don't know. Yeah.
Nolan is going to make artsy movies now.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that as an
or the
example.
Russo
Right,
brothers.
no, but he's gonna go the other way extreme. He's gonna after Oppenheimer, he's just gonna do like probably more like it.
The
He's
Russo
just gonna do
brothers
tone poem shit.
showed a lot of
Go ahead.
promise, but they were under control of Feige's stupid ass at the end there. But
Honestly, I think if it wasn't for James Gunn holding their hands through a lot of that,
he was
and
very
it shows
crucial.
because they said that he came in and worked heavily on. Well, obviously, we know he worked heavily on just the Infinity
But not
Saga
on
in
Winter
general.
Soldier, though. But not on Winter Soldier.
No. But what he did do, though, is you can tell he had a lot to do with the Guardians bits and certain other things in Infinity War and Endgame, because he said in that interview when he came in for and the deal was made, when he sat down to write, they didn't have anything planned out for the Infinity Saga, and Thanos is a central part of his fucking story.
Which means
So
we can
they're
blame. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, so he had to plan all that out for him.
I
And you
understand
can
that. I mean,
tell.
yeah. But sometimes the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. That means we could also blame James Gunn for the idiocy of the scene with Star-Lord punching Thanos when he knows all he has to do is stay away from him, and then they win. Horrible scene.
Oh, that was dumb. Yes, but I mean,
I love the
I love the
movie,
At
but
the same
that was awful.
time,
That
you
doesn't
know,
work. That was the
it
character.
works in
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord's character as far as he's been presented in
The
the
movie
films,
one,
though.
but yeah,
Yes.
and it's a little far
Because
it's still over the top.
As somebody who's impulsive like that, like I am, I understand it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do stupid shit you regret later,
That's
right?
something
Like it's just
he just cost the whole universe basically with his.
he
idiocy.
did, and he knows that, and they make him, and they actually address that to a point too. It's like
I can't buy into it. He should not have written it that way.
Yeah, it's like wait till you get
I
the
don't know if
glove
he
off,
wrote
then
that.
interrogate him. It's a lot easier. But
I don't know if he wrote
I
that
get-
part so much. I'm not trying to say that part,
well,
but I was
here's
talking
the other
about
part
just
too.
the tone of the tone of the Guardians, because my point I was getting
I
to is
still
you
love
see
that
them.
movie. Yeah,
You see them in Endgame, and they're the Guardians of the Galaxy still. You see them in Thor: Love and Thunder. That ain't the Guardians of the Galaxy anymore. They're
No.
completely different characters.
Awesome.
So that was my point I was getting
No,
to.
yeah,
more
I
so
I'm
than
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry.
that's all right.
I still love
And then-
Infinity War. I'm just saying that one bit, but yeah.
But also, when it comes to the Russo brothers, a lot of the stuff that is attributed to them being that they directed was actually directed by the second unit team, and that's the same people that were behind John Wick.
So they're the ones who gave us that great airport scene fight, probably.
The airport scene, right? The elevator stuff, anything with the helicarriers, that's all second unit.
Mhm.
The Russos are television directors, and they were fairly competent ones. But when you saw them completely on their own without Marvel guidance, they're kind of forgettable.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But Winter Soldier is an extraordinary movie, in my opinion.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. It's great. I think it came way too early in the overall scheme of the Marvel thing, because it's like, oh, we're now getting into the nitty gritty of what Shield does. Oh, now we don't have Shield anymore. Well, geez, thanks for taking away a whole avenue of awesome stories that you could possibly have.
True. They shouldn't
with your
take it away.
characters.
Yeah. Again, I have quibbles like that as well. Don't take away Shield. You can just have them damaged a little bit, but not taking it away was silly.
Yeah, like they do a purge, but Shield is still intact. And yes, now they have to rebuild the trust with the rest of the world. Great, that's an awesome story to do. No, what
Agreed.
they do, they just deferred it all to 6 people on an airplane and on an ABC TV show helmed by Joss Whedon.
Wasn't Whedon's brother?
He took over when Joss
Okay.
started getting controversy.
I hear you.
But it was a
No,
Mutant
gotcha.
Enemy production, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then on top of that, you also have Marcus and McFeely. They wrote 9 of the essential MCU properties across movies and television shows. So they were working in tandem with James Gunn as well. They haven't been a part of Marvel since Endgame either. So that's 3 voices that have not been part of Marvel since Endgame, and we have seen the result of that since. And again, for 2 writers, even with James Gunn's direction and guidance, bringing forth 9 properties in total within 6 years, that is really hard to do. Like it takes usually a year and a half or so minimum just to do a good early draft of a script, and they delivered 9 in 6. That's crazy. So they deserve their rest as well. But again, they haven't replaced them with anyone that is anywhere near the quality of what they need.
Damn it. Damn them.
After Ike Perlmutter, everything went to hell in a handbasket, as we say.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I mean, unfortunately, Ike is kind of the catalyst for how this started. He's the one that chose to sell to Disney and throw in with Disney at that time. It was the dumbest thing. He's paying for it just as much as the rest of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he could have just nestled in with the Paramount distribution. Paramount was brokering all the deals with Universal and Fox and Sony at the time. You would have had an MCU across all those
Paramount would have
studios.
just kept
Every
letting them
studio-
do whatever the fuck they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, every studio, excluding Warner Brothers, would have had a piece of that sweet Marvel Studios money and have been doing great. But he had to sell out to Disney, or I had to technically throw in with Disney, and Disney screwed him huge.
Yeah.
We would have had like 3 Hulk movies by now. I'm definitely not with Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, good. That, I mean,
I almost
bad
think
that
we'd
we
have been better off with Norton.
Oh, it would have been. Yeah. Ugh.
Or better or worse, at least he took shit seriously.
I would take Norton over Ruffalo any day of the week.
Agreed.
Oh,
Well, it's not even the Ruffalo aspect of it. I mean, at least he gave a shit. He fought tooth and nail with him, but at least he gave a shit, for better or worse, right? I'd rather have.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, I'd rather have somebody who really wants to fight for something like that and gives a shit than somebody who's just going to bend and buckle to Marvel like a lot of these folks do.
That's one thing. And then the other thing is that Edward Norton, even if he's a difficult person, you can tell he's a smart person. So when he plays a character that's smart, you kind of believe it because he seems like he's not completely dumb in real life. Whereas Mark Ruffalo, I think that he's dumb in real life and he looks dumb. So when he's supposed to be this very smart professor, doctor guy, whatever, Banner, he's supposed to be very smart. He doesn't seem that way. He seems like when I look at Ruffalo, his eyes, look at Ruffalo's eyes. He looks like an idiot.
You know what Ruffalo doesn't? Yeah. I say, you know what also Ruffalo doesn't have that Norton has that Bigsby had? Is he has that extreme charisma and likability, but there's an edge behind him.
Right.
Yes.
And you can't quite put your finger on it, but you know it's there. And that's the thing. With Ruffalo, we kind of know more so. It's just because he can be difficult and he can get,
I have to say that Bixby was excellent.
Whatever, but yeah.
Bixby is underrated. He's great.
When Bigsby would get serious though in the show, like you could, he had that underlying edge to him. It was like he was always that happy-go-lucky, chipper kind of thing going for his Banner.
Oh, he was extraordinary.
But when he had to be serious, he was really good with it, and he had the edge to him too. And that he was carrying that weight with him, and you kind of felt that with Norton too. Like even though Norton was leaned a little bit more into the serious aspect of it, he didn't have the happy-go-lucky chipper thing. He did have little moments like that though. You know what I mean? Like he did have a few, especially like when he's fixing the thing for at the plant in the beginning for the Mexican dude or whatever it was, or not Mexican. He was he wasn't in Mexico. Where was he? He was in
it
was somewhere in South America, but I can't remember exactly
Brazil
where
or
it
somewhere.
was.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere down there. Yeah, it was in Brazil, I think. And he was talking to him and trying to explain to him, like, he needs the new parts or whatever to fix it. And it's just the way he handled that interaction is a good example of that. The way he handles that girl, just certain things like that. That feels very Bill Bixby-ish in a sense to a point, I guess. And that's why I always said I compare him more to Bill Bixby's version of it than anybody else's. And most people just don't get it when I say that. But it's like, no, I just felt like he got the right kind of tone with Banner, right? He's always kind of this quiet, introverted guy, but he's always thinking about things and he always cares about other people, right? If anything, that's his biggest weakness isn't that he's the Hulk. It's that he gives too much of a shit about other people when he shouldn't. Because the joke I always make about the original Hulk show is that he's a horrible doctor, but he's a great therapist or social worker. Yeah.
He's a great
detective.
Humanitarian.
Yep. He was a social worker. I call that show incredible social worker, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's joking, but it's true, right? Like he just always had that humanitarian, thank you, Mike, kind of aspect of him, right?
Yeah.
Which Ruffalo could have played with, especially with his political shit, but Ruffalo just made the Hulk like Snuffleupagus.
Oh, he's like,
I don't want to be the Hulk.
The bits when we do have the Hulk going on there, it's fine because we don't have to see his stupid face. Yeah, and you don't care. It's the bottom line.
I mean, once he becomes the Hulk, it's just the Hulk, basically, right? So,
except in Endgame when he was really annoying. Oh God.
No, dude.
Oh, I hated
him. They made him
Professor
Hulk
Hulk
or whatever. Yeah,
Professor Hulk. So badly. That's happened in comics many times, but
nowhere like that.
Written terribly in there. He was awful.
I'd make the argument that that was even a Professor Hulk, just because he didn't act anything intelligent at all. He was just retarded Hulk.
Yeah, he was goofy Hulk.
That's what he was. He was retarded and stupid Hulk. And Hulk in general is not stupid. I mean, yeah, he's a musclehead when Banner's the Hulk, but Hulk is still aware of his surroundings. Whereas when he was Hulk and Banner together, he was just an idiot.
I'm gonna stick up a little bit for Norton here. Now, JFJ, obviously, you know, everybody has their own opinions, and that's fine. He says Edward Norton can't play heroes. Playing the Weasel in Rounders or Fight Club is where he excels. I agree, especially in Rounders, because he unapologetically plays that part. And there's just a point where he just basically he just fucking pieces out of the movie, right? And I don't think an actor who is a shit actor or somebody who's egotistical would let that happen to their character like that. But he knows the movie and the story well enough to know that he has to do that at that point because that's what the character is supposed to do. And you actually didn't mention probably his best acting role ever, which is American History X. And in that movie, he goes from being a complete piece of shit to the absolute opposite, where he's trying to warn his brother that you're going down the same path I did. So I kind of disagree. I think he can play heroes. He plays complicated heroes very well. But that's just my opinion. So what do you guys think?
Aren't you guys going to just at least mention Bana just out of respect, even though the movie was horrible?
Mention what?
No.
Sorry.
Eric Bana.
No, he sucks.
Yeah. I know,
No.
but that's what I'm saying. Even in a bad way, no one even
I
mentioned
like
him as
elements of the
hilarious.
movie, but I like elements of that movie like I like Morbius.
Oh, the movie's
so
horrible, I
that's the
thought,
thing.
but I mean, he's bad. I'm just saying, or he wasn't bad. He just
Like,
wasn't
to
in a
me,
bad
Hulk
movie.
fight was the greatest thing put on film with the dogs.
With the poodles. Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Radio gamma poodles. That made me want. I can't. No, it'll piss me.
That
off.
was the single greatest thing
It's
put
so
on film
stupid.
to that moment.
It was
Oh my
so
God,
dumb.
dude.
I was initially excited for a movie because when I saw the trailer of Eric Bana staring in the mirror, that seemed like a very Bruce Banner moment, and then you see the green eye.
Yeah, that was cool.
One thing,
And
in
then
all
all of a sudden-
seriousness,
Then all of a sudden that movie happened, and then Ang Lee is like, "This is an art film." I'm like, "Oh god."
Oh.
Well, that's another reason
get
why I
outta
remind people
here,
you don't
Ang.
necessarily want these auteur directors always taking on these kind of things either. But here's the thing: I did not like the Hulk, especially the third act. That thing
Just
goes
call
off
it
the
Hulk.
fucking
Not even
rails.
call it the Hulk. Hulk.
I will give it this though. I will give him credit for being ambitious and actually trying to do the living comic book thing. It didn't really work,
Didn't work, but he tried.
but he
guess.
tried.
Didn't
And I
know if it
will
was
say
terrible.
there's some iconic bits with like the eyeball. You're totally right. In fact, I think they stole that in the Norton Hulk too. There's a few bits I think they stole in the Norton Hulk. But I will give him credit for being ambitious. At that time, the CG in that movie was really well done, actually.
There's only
Especially
one cool
compared to She-Hulk.
But there's only one cool scene in the whole movie, and it's the very last scene when he's out there in the jungle and all these bad mercenary guys coming in with the guns and stuff, you know, and they're all.
I don't know. I
threatening
dug the
these
scene in the
people.
desert.
They're threatening these people though, and then they come in and he goes, "Don't make me angry. You're making me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry." And it pulls way up, and you hear the roar, and it's like, "Now it's over. Wait a minute. This is kind of cool." And now it's
I
over.
like the bit in the desert though when he's taking on the tanks and shit. I thought that was
Just
pretty
looks
cool.
so bad though.
And you know the part I really laughed is when what's his face got kicked out the fucking house.
Oh God, yeah, Glenn Talbot character.
Talbot, yes.
Yep, Glenn Talbot.
Then they cut to
yep.
that shot outside the house, and all of a sudden Talbot comes flying out. And I laughed my ass
By the way,
off.
why was the Hulk as big as the house?
Okay, here's my other thing. I do
Hated
kind of
that.
like, but people usually disagree with me, and I totally get it because it's
Uh-huh.
not part of the comics. But I actually
What?
kind of liked how Aang took the angle of the angrier the Hulk gets, the bigger and more indestructible he gets.
The angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. Yes, but not the bigger.
Well, in this
Yeah.
movie, he actually gets bigger too.
I know.
Like, that's
I
the whole
think-
thing. Yeah.
I think that was a matter of perspective and weirdness, though. He was just being weird.
I get why he did it. I can't say I was not really wild on the idea, but I do get why you liked it. I'll put it that way. I wasn't wild about it.
Oh
but
no, and
can
I
see
totally
why you did.
understand, especially why comic people don't. Right? That's what I won't argue. But like to me, I thought, oh, that's kind of a
Yeah, but it's just
I
mostly
like that
boring.
Jennifer Connelly
twist.
was there.
Yeah,
yes.
well, yeah.
Jennifer Connelly was
Yeah,
still
she
the
was well
better of the
casted.
Bettys.
Oh yeah.
remember-
Because as much as I like Liv Tyler, oh god, Connelly was so much better, and I could actually believe Connelly's a scientist.
Right. Liv Tyler
Yes.
didn't seem that way.
Yes. She was.
I can't believe she could put 2 and 2 together. Let alone.
The weirdest thing about that movie, there's a scene fairly early on where they're talking, and he and Eric Bana and Jennifer Connelly, and they have their, somehow at some point, I forgot exactly why, but they go into a flashback, right? And they're talking and sitting there, and then all of a sudden, inside their flashback, they have a flashback. I'll sit there with Buddy, like, wait a minute, are they having a flashback?
Oh, you're talking about the flashback where he flashbacks to the
they had a flashback inside of a flashback.
Because where he goes back and to remember,
I'm going, illegal procedure, 15-yard penalty, flashback inside flashback, 15 yards. I mean, what in the hell?
Oh, that's where the movie completely falls off the rails, is with Daddy Hulk.
Oh,
because I'm sitting here going, I'm amped up thinking, all right, they basically stole the idea of the essence, right? Like he can take on the essence of whatever he touches.
Yeah, it's Peter David's fault, really, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's set up so he could actually just take, the powers of his son. And then they have a big Hulk fight at the end, right? Like, I'm getting amped up for this. I'm like, all right, we're going to have Nick Nolte Hulk versus Eric Bana Hulk. Let's get ready. And they turn him into a fucking fart cloud.
They stole the Absorbing Man. They tried to make him like the Absorbing Man.
Absorbing Man, there you go. That's who it was.
He wasn't Crusher Creel, though. It was just Daddy Banner, which is from comics. And then I love how the fact that they said, Nick Nolte was walking out of the rehab when they signed him for that movie. And he said, well, just come on. No, I gotta go. No, take a shower.
Shit somehow.
You look perfect. Stay like that. You're gonna go film you like that. Come on. He didn't even take a shower or anything. He said, no. God, he was horrible.
You can smell him through that movie. You're right.
I think that Eric Bana, I mean, it's not that I really think about him much or his portrayal, but I also have to at least say that he probably wasn't given the best screenplay there. And I mean, he may have been able to give a better performance than what we saw, but he didn't have much to work with.
I just think Ang Lee was way too ambitious. That's what I think it was.
True.
He was just way too ambitious.
He's just not a good fit. I think Ang Lee, I liked his movie, The Hidden Crouching Tigers, whatever.
That.
Yeah, that was a good movie. But aside from that, he's pompous. He's annoying. He made that Brokeback Mountain crappy movie, and I don't know about that guy. You know what I mean? He made, that Crouching Tiger thing was like a fluke. He happened to do one that was good.
Yeah,
that's good. Jennifer Connelly went to Yale and Stanford. Liv Tyler went to the mall.
Whoa! Evil.
She can spot a good sale. Yeah, that's about it. No,
It's
I love
ironic
Liv Tyler.
because, Jennifer Connelly, one of her more well-known films, is about her being trapped in a mall.
Oh yeah, or a wall or a Target or whatever. Huh?
Target.
She's riding that horse thing.
Yeah, with what's his face?
Oh God, yeah. What
career opportunities? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was smoking in that one.
Yeah, I don't mind her as an actress, but yeah, I would. That's a bad role to put her in when she's supposed to be playing like a scientist and shit. It's like
you're mean.
No.
You're mean, Six.
No. I was surprised she actually went that far. I thought she was going to give me shit for giving Liv Tyler shit because I do. I like Liv Tyler. She's fine. Nothing wrong with her.
Right.
But just completely miscast as Betty Ross.
Yeah. A lovely woman, but yeah.
I couldn't believe she could calculate her way out of a paper bag, let alone putting some gamma radiation cells together.
That's
no
awful.
fucking way. No way.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But anyway, so yeah, no, honestly, I think people wouldn't have so much of a problem with Ang Lee's Hulk had it just ended the way I said, because the part that people like about the Incredible Hulk, the Norton one, is that you have the Abomination in him fighting in Harlem at the end, right?
And they had the leader. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you just had old man Hulk fighting young Hulk, I don't think people would have cared as much. I think it's that fart cloud moment that really loses a lot of people.
But they go into the water, there's some bright lights for 5 seconds, and the fight's over.
Yeah.
There's no fight.
He's like, you want the energy? Take it all. It's like, well, what the fuck is this?
Nothing happens. And they think,
well, they
Hulk's
fight
dead.
in the sky for a while, too. You forgot about that.
But they barely fight, though.
Yeah. I know, it was so stupid. And I said, basically,
yeah.
And like I said, I was getting ramped up for something like we got at the end of the Incredible Hulk, where we're literally going to get old man Hulk versus young Hulk, basically, right?
Yeah,
that's what I thought we were going to get. No, instead,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it was terrible. And then, but at least, like you said, Incredible Hulk was more like it. You got the Abomination, and they set in motion the character, one of the Hulk's biggest enemies, the leader. Although they never did anything with him later, that actor's pretty good.
And that was one of Tim Ross's best roles to date. I mean, he's always good in everything he fucking does, but
Abomination should have looked better. But
oh yeah. But I liked him in that, and I really like him, of course, in just about everything he's in. But he's basically playing the same role he played in Planet of the Apes, but in a better movie.
Then he ruined him in She-Hulk.
Yeah, they ruined him in She-Hulk. They made him into a weirdo. DCB Titan sends in 2 Canadian buckaroos and says, anyone on the panel see the trailer for Monkey Man? No, I haven't.
Nope.
Monkey Man.
I don't think so.
I think I did. Isn't that the Indian one?
Oh, is it an Indian movie?
Yeah.
Our action thriller, Monkey Man.
Don't know.
Universal. Oof. I don't want to take a chance with them. I already took a chance with Lionsgate. Actually, it looks like it's done in the U.S., so it's not an Indian film.
I agree. Party Pucks.
It does
I
have
agree.
a few Indian people in the cast, though. That's probably why. Maybe.
I agree.
I kind of remember hearing about this a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had Rick Jones, as someone says in the chat, but they would have ruined him. They did put his name in and went it up in the Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Okay, yeah, I remember hearing about this. It's where the dude's like a monkey dude.
Yeah, called Monkey Man.
Yeah.
What in the hell?
Jordan
Peele. That's a no-go. That's no deal.
Yeah.
He made it. I don't watch it.
I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I do remember hearing about this DCB Titan. So it could be interesting. I like monkeys.
Doesn't he have a movie coming out called The Society of Something We Can't Say?
Is that him, or is he
American
just in
Society or something? I don't know.
I don't think he made that though, did he?
I don't know, but I just saw some kind of thing for it just now tonight.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That comes out this week. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was him. I don't know. I paid attention. This the title. This amuses some people.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Were Monkey.
Were Monkey.
Wow.
Well, you never know. It could have been some anime or Korean thing. It's just the guy uses like a monkey fighting style.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. You know,
or he's a mutant monkey hybrid. Who knows?
No, we know that's what it is. It is the latter. It's not Jordan Peele. It's the other guy. Yeah, that's right.
No, he was bitten by a radioactive monkey.
Like my
now
sex
has the
life.
powers of monkey.
I was bitten by a radioactive Puerto Rican girl.
That explains a lot.
Remember in Planet of the Apes, Escape the Planet of the Apes, when the word monkey was a derogatory term? Don't get
it's a
offended by that
derogatory
word.
term.
The M word.
Yeah, the M word.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one good thing, bringing up Tim Roth about the Planet of the Apes. That was the one, like, just the makeup and the actors they had in that movie. It's like, how do you fuck this movie up?
Well, there's always a way.
You beat Tim Burton. That's how.
Yeah, there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm convinced something happened to Tim Burton. I don't know what it was, but usually in Hollywood, there's
Helena
like,
Bonham Carter.
that could be part of it. That could very well, but like, I mean, I used to joke that whatever spaceship came and took Michael Jackson away and replaced him with the white replacement did the same thing to Tim Burton. You just didn't notice because he was already white. But like, because you look at his career and it's like he's got like great film after great film after great film. I wonder if it wasn't Mars Attacks. I'm starting to think that's
you didn't
the
like
one.
that one. I like
No, but what I like it fine. But what happened was he put that up against Independence Day and it got crushed.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, and you look at a director's career, and there's always like this turning point in their career. They have like, you know, even if they fail up leading up to this point, it's usually like some big ambitious movie or a very personal movie that fails, right? They can have little failures, but it's always when they hit this stride and this point, and then they have like this big failure or a movie that were so personal to them that gets completely derailed. And then from that point on, they're not the same director anymore. But he did Big Fish after that, so it doesn't quite fit. But Big Fish, I know, is something he has been working on for years. But from that point on, he did shit. It was like, because it was from that point on, after Mars Attacks is when he started doing like nothing but remakes outside of Big Fish.
Yeah.
He did Sleepy Hollow. He did, you know, Planet of the Apes, Dumbo, Alice in Wonderland, nothing but remakes. Superman Lives fell apart in between there too. But I don't think he was. Yeah, Willy Wonka. I don't even think he was that attached to that, though. See, that's the weird thing. So I think I pinpointed it. I wonder if it wasn't Mars Attacks, because that was something he was really into, right? Like that was him bringing his kid love of all the shit that he loved as a kid to a movie, right? And it was a big ambitious picture, and it got crushed to death that summer. And I think it lost money. I think it's the only movie he ever made that lost money, to be honest with you. But
wow, there you go. Did not know that they did that badly.
and Sweeney Todd is technically not a remake, but it's an
Adaptation
adaptation
of
of
a
a
play.
musical.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing I guess he'd had gotten really much notice after that, after Big Fish. I mean, you look at his career after that, it just went downhill.
Yep.
Nothing but remakes and adaptations. I'm
Now
trying
he's
to think
doing
of his
the
last original film. Yeah.
And there's last original film other than Mars Attacks. Is there one? I don't know, maybe
Big Fish. That's
Big
it.
Fish.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Fisher King or whatever.
Well, he didn't
Yeah.
do Fisher King. That was Gilliam.
That was Gilliam. He did Big Fish.
Yep.
Sorry.
Nightmare Before Christmas was another one in between there too that didn't.
Oh,
do as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't. He didn't direct that though. See, that's the thing most people misinterpret. He just designed it and came up with the story idea.
Right.
Like, I mean, clearly all those designs and stuff are his. But yeah, Danny Elfman did the music and all that business.
Yeah. And now he's doing a sequel to
Oh, the-
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, now he's directing Beetlejuice 2.
A sequel. Hey.
Is this his second sequel he's done?
Yeah. Second,
yeah.
third. He did Batman Returns.
Yep.
Returns.
Oh no, he didn't do the
He did-
Alice in
did-
Wonderland sequel. That's right. He didn't do that one.
Did he do both of those? Willy Wonka? I don't know. He didn't.
No, he only did one Willy Wonka. So I'm
One.
trying to think. This would actually be a second. You're right. I think this is only a second sequel.
Well, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
And it also happens to be a Michael Keaton vehicle as well.
Yeah, because Batman Returns is the only one before this. Yeah. Because he did not return for the. I always forget that. Even though they did that, Alice Through the Looking Glass, he didn't direct that. At least I'm pretty sure he didn't. Pretty sure.
Yep. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't get to make a Superman
No,
movie.
James Bobbin directed the sequel. So there you go.
Bobbin.
'Cause at that point, that was after him and Helena had broke up too. I think that was part of the reason. 'Cause they were together for a while, since Planet of the Apes, which is funny because he left that blonde chick that he was with, the blonde chick that plays the cave lady or whatever, the human lady in the movie. He was dating her when they,
one.
yeah, and he ended up with fucking Helena Bonham Carter by the end.
Wow.
If you were to count his non-adaptation movies, you'd have like what, 3 or 4, maybe like Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood and
Before, yeah. Well, Ed Wood was
and,
another one he did in between there too. Yeah.
Mars
What
Attacks
else?
is sort of an adaptation. It's like the Batman movies is from other material, so that's.
But it's kind of his. It's kind of his. It's kind of his
It is an
remit.
adaptation.
Well, it was loosely based on the top card.
Yeah,
set.
the top cards. So as far as like him making a movie from scratch, I mean, Ed Wood is a bio sort of pick, but still.
So you got Beetlejuice,
Which he just came into. He didn't come up with that.
He didn't come up
Edward
with it.
Scissorhands is like the one thing that he came up with.
Don't forget Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Well, he was a director on that. Again, not something he really created, but he was just
Well, yeah.
Like his fingertips are mainly on things like Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare Before Christmas, even though he didn't direct it. That's still pure Tim Burton. Frankenweenie, Big Fish, Mars Attacks. I would still consider more of an original, even though because it's just so
the old Topps cards, but yeah, but still,
still
it
so
is from other
original.
material, but yeah, he did add some.
It's kind of like a remix of sorts or whatever you want to call it. Corpse Bride is another one that I would say is a little bit, but that's kind of almost like a quasi sequel to and Beetlejuice. That's the thing, is people give him a lot of credit for Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice had gone through a lot of people before. Beetlejuice was one of those movies that was around for a long time. Wes Craven was going to make it for a while. I think Joe Dante was going to make it for a while. I think John Landis and a few other people were attached for a while. It was just one of those movies that went around for a long, long time. And when he came on board, he added like his flair to it. That's the thing. A lot of the things that people consider Tim Burton's design is really Bo Welch. See, and you can tell that because when Bo Welch left, Tim Burton's design kind of changed a little bit. And then you go watch Cat in the Hat and you can totally see where it went. but Bo Welch should not be directing movies. He should just be doing production design.
Yeah.
He fancied himself Barry Sonnenfeld. It's like he's Barry Sonnenfeld. You are not, sir. For those who don't know, that's how Barry Sonnenfeld got started too. But yeah,
Men in Black.
Doesn't Helena Bonham Carter get less roles now because she's not married to him?
And she's old.
I'd say it's more with her age because she was already pretty well established. She was already, I think, an Oscar winner by the time they had met.
Yeah, I
think
think
that's true.
Because she was in like what woman was that? I think it was with like not Remains of the
Fight
Day, but
Club,
one of
of
those.
course.
And she was in some costume drama. She won the
Merchant
Oscar.
and Ivory stuff.
Yeah, Merchant and Ivory type movie. I can't remember what the hell it was, but yeah.
I liked her in Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course she was in that and a few other
was
things.
great,
Yeah. Yeah, she'd already been pretty well established by the time those two got together. And that was the weird thing because the chick that he broke up with, I don't think she's done much since. But she was a hot ticket for a minute there. I can't think of her name here. Let me.
Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie. Oh yeah. She played Vampire.
No, not Lisa Marie. Was that her name?
It's not Lisa Marie Presley. It's a different Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie.
Is that her?
She played Vampire in Ed Wood. No, not that much.
No, that's a different. That was another one he was dating for a while.
That was. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Because so this would be the one in between there. She's in the Planet of the Apes movie, but she was also in I think it was Driven with Sylvester Stallone.
No, Lisa Marie was in Ed Wood.
Yeah, she.
Yeah. She was, but that's who he was dating before Estella Warren. He was for a very short period dating Estella Warren.
Wasn't she in Planet of the Apes?
That's what I was saying, and I think she got in that movie because she was dating him. But as they were making the movie, he was screwing around with Helena Bonham Carter on her. Let me try and find a decent picture over here so you guys know who I'm talking about. And it's kind of a close up, but I mean, she's got one of those pouty 90s chick faces. So yeah.
Yeah, she was nice.
She was in a few movies for a hot minute and then just like poof, she's gone.
Yeah.
Well, I could say something, but it won't be very PC, so maybe I shouldn't say it.
I'm not even kidding. Look at this shit.
Blonde women are usually the first to go. You know what I'm saying?
No, but here's the thing. She went out.
Oh, so a stereotype.
No, I mean blonde women. They're if let's say there's a cute blonde woman, I don't know why. Like she doesn't always hold up that look for long term.
I'm gonna go on. I'm not gonna say she slept her way into movies, but she starts out pretty hot. She's got Perfume, Driven, Planet of the Apes. Driven and Planet of the Apes were two big bombs, but they were also meant to be really big movies at the box office. And then she also was in Kangaroo Jack, which was also a very famous bomb. And then from there on out, she's not in anything worth a shit.
I think that her looks are tied. It's the same, you know, the looks are tied to the amount of roles she's getting.
That could be said by a lot of people.
Could be, but she was in a Beauty and the Beast movie that, holy crap, looks like more like a porno movie here. I don't know.
I bet Six is loving this thing that I'm saying now. She loves everything I said.
I doubt it.
Oh, that's an asylum film right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She went down to the. But this wasn't even that long ago.
Blonde. Oh, okay.
This was like 2000 and I think this is 2009. She's still technically acting, but like it's very shit work, right? So like, yeah,
like less than Netflix.
Shit. Yeah, like none of these things I've ever heard of before. That was the only thing I'd ever heard of, and that's clearly like Script said, like some asylum movie or something. So, all right, kids. Well, I think we've drugged this out. We've got we got one more super chat here. I Cthulhu says with $5 says what made Burton great was like Tarantino sets evoking stage performances. When he makes movies, everything falls apart.
Yep.
I don't get the comparison with Tarantino though.
Like Tarantino sets. Yeah. I don't think he's much like Tarantino. I'm not.
I think it's missing a pronoun there.
I would say I'm trying to.
He sets evoking stage performances, or
sets.
when he makes movies, everything falls apart.
Movies. I can't think of a Tim Burton film that's a movie.
Same thing with Tarantino. Like closest thing to hit that is Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
Would Jackie Brown really be a movie?
The only reason I say that is because it's the only one of his movies that doesn't rely on a lot of his typical tropes, and it's the only movie he did that he didn't write originally because it was based on the Elmer Leonard
on a book. Yeah.
I mean, it also does.
It's the most linear of all of his stories. That's what I was trying to say.
It's the most linear of all the stories, but it also has like a nod to Sharky's Machine in that with the opening. With and they're just walking for that exact same song for the entire duration of it.
And you also have the blaxploitation element to it a little bit, but not as much as they tried to evoke with the trailers. But yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure. Cthulhu, I'm not sure on that. I mean, as far as like, once you see one of their movies, you know it's one of their movies, clearly distinctive styles, like Shadow Chaser's saying that. I get what you're saying, but I don't think their movies fall apart per se. Like, I mean, Burton has made a few stinkers for sure. Tarantino, on the other hand, like, I don't agree. That's just my personal opinion, but I don't agree on that. But like, yeah. So yeah. If anything, he has some of the best endings of his movie. I don't want him to end half the time. That's the problem. Like, I was pissed like at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm like, that's how you're going to end it? I want more. Can't end it like that.
Forward to that the Tarantino and Leo DiCaprio television series thing to come out.
Yeah, I know. I've been looking forward to that. Yeah, they're just supposed to do the Bounty Law.
Yeah.
Bounty Law. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that unless maybe the strike got in the way of and delayed it, but because they're also supposed to be doing because remember when he did Hateful Eight and he did the extended cut on Netflix, I thought they were going to be doing an extended cut of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well. I thought, because he says he's got like almost a whole nother hour and a half or something like that of footage.
I can believe it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is now that I've seen the extended cut of Hateful Eight, I hate the other. I don't want to watch the other version anymore.
Wow.
It's completely different.
Yeah, I think I only watched the extended one.
Oh, the extended one's so much better. Like, I like the original one, but then once you see the extended one, you're like, I can't go back to that. There's just so much cool shit in the extended cut. But I'm a Tarantino freak, so like that's possibly where I'm not seeing the parallel there. But like, to me, Tim Burton, when he's on, right? Like, he is on fire, but when he's off, he's way off.
Yeah.
I think Planet of the Apes is the only exception because everything is spot on except for the story, right? And it's really only.
There's another problem.
Go ahead.
Well, he missed the entire point of the films. I know those were sort of adapted from books, but the original films, part of the point was apes had evolved so much that they walked around and acted like humans. That was part of the satire of that story and everything. They didn't jump around like apes. And in this idiot movie, he has them swinging around, jumping around like apes that can talk. And it kind of kills everything about the whole satire of the original films.
That's what I was saying. They were like the story and
people.
Stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like he didn't quite understand what he was doing. I agree with you 100%. I don't even think he wrote it. Yeah. But whoever wrote it, or if he reinterpreted it in his way or what, because I'm watching this.
He would do. No.
I'm watching this thing, and I don't know if you'll be the only one on the panel to get this, Clobby, but it feels like the only Planet of the Apes he'd ever seen was the series and not the actual movies.
The series didn't have anything, I don't know, like that.
Because in the series, did people talk and shit already?
Did humans talk already? Yes. It was established that it took place a couple.
And the whole them being afraid of water is in the series. There's a bunch of shit in that movie that's more from the series.
Yeah, the series was before Taylor.
Actually, it's after. Is it before or after? I can't remember.
About 1,000 years or so before Taylor gets there.
You're right. Yeah, it's one of the. Yeah, you're probably right. Because it's the whole thing is they're looking for Taylor, but he hasn't been there yet or whatever. I think you're right. I have to watch it again. I got the whole set.
In the TV series, they don't even mention Taylor, but they're definitely after him. I love that show, by the way. I think it's underrated.
Yeah, it's a great show. It was really well done. But like all the rules they established in that show that weren't in the movie, like apes being afraid of water, the humans being able to talk, they're just being treated like second-class citizens and all that kind of shit. All that kind of stuff
Oh,
was in
that
the
could be.
series. See, and that's
Yeah.
where I'm like, did whoever make this actually just remember the series and not actually watch the TV, the movies, and just watch the TV show?
And they're
Because what
only
they did for
14
that TV
episodes.
show for years, for people who don't know, is they only had what 13 episodes, I think it
14,
was, and
14
something like
total,
that. But only like 10 of them aired because they canceled it, and then they
Yeah.
turn around a couple years later and they cut a couple episodes together like movies. So you
And
have
five-
basically two
yep.
episodes crammed together as movies. Yeah.
Over the course of 5 days, they did that on the they aired it in syndication like that. Yes, and that's the one I first got to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, recorded them.
So I
loved
wonder
them.
if whoever wrote this or whatever, their inspiration was more from the show. But anyway, that was a long thing. Let's get the hell out of here. Nick can't even stay in the stream. He's been here so long.
I'm so long. I had a buttoning issue, but anyways, yeah, I'll be on Thursday Night Throwdown in a half hour on Comics Division's channel. But as I like to say every week, if you are already going to Clubby's Clubhouse, stick with your plans and go there. But I myself will be on TNT and Comic Shop Talk tomorrow night, and of course Toxic Tuesday, Ghostbusters next week. It's
Cool.
gonna be huge.
Oh my heart and soul right there. Love it.
So yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. I am talking about what's going on at the X-Men has been surprisingly very entertaining. Very entertaining. It's probably ended up being more entertaining than the show is itself. But yeah, thanks for having me, Tom. Always good to hang out with you and the boy, and good to have the greatest YouTuber alive as well.
It is a rare treat to get Mikey in here.
Yeah,
Because I'm not a YouTuber.
I can hear the jealousy of Mr. Beast already.
I had to bring this out since I've mentioned it before and I haven't showed it. But I do
Is
still
that-
have my copy of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
But what I was really talking about was I wasn't sure if I still had this, but I do. And I remember pasting this on the counter at my video store because people kept asking. They actually put this in the video to try and explain the fucking movie to people.
No.
I shit you not. This is actually in the DVD.
Wow.
It says at the top because you can't read it probably. It says time does not travel in a straight line through an electromagnetic storm. So they literally have all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 10 bits here where they explain the whole thing on the movie about how and why the characters and the monkey wind up where they do in the timeline and why to try and explain the movie.
Needs instructions. The movie needs instructions.
The
Yeah.
movie needed instructions to be understood. Yeah.
Oh, Yellow Flash, don't be that way about Tom. There's no way. Tom
Are you
would do
shitting
that.
me?
Tom has more
He knows
class
better.
than
He
that.
knows better. He saw what I was
He
saying.
has
in the-
to be joking.
No, he's trolling because I was giving it because he was actually saying, "Oh, it doesn't look that bad, but this and that and the other." But I'm not familiar with the comics, and I told him this ain't nothing like the comics.
No,
we were talking in a DM group, and I'm like, "No, this ain't nothing like the comics. This is the first movie was definitely closer to the comics than this is, with the few changes that were there." Yeah. But all right, let's get out of here. Nick, what you got coming up? You did yours already. CC,
Already
Loki
did mine.
Oki?
No, I'm going to the city for my mom's
Oh, that's right. Your
birthday this
mom's things
weekend.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Have fun, CC.
But it's
Maybe I'll do
been
some
awesome
Loki, who
hanging
knows?
out with the great YouTuber Mikey, one of the greatest of us all.
The best.
I have said nothing in the last hour.
Closing in on 3,000 subscribers. We got to get him there.
Even when he says nothing, it's really, really great.
When you say nothing at all. That's right.
I would rather, instead of waking up every day and worrying about being a successful YouTuber, I would rather sell oranges on the side of the road of Interstate 10 in Arizona in August at high noon.
Well, there's a problem with your statement. See, there's only 3 actual successful YouTubers. And I
Mike is
definitely ain't
one
one
of
of them. You're more of a successful YouTuber than I am.
No. No, by any metric on planet Earth, no. By God, no.
Okay, here he goes. Or no, this was the same one as before. But did Icthulu come back again on that? I didn't see him pop back up in the chat. Where is he? Okay, here we go. What I mean is that both Tarantino and Burton could turn their movies into stage plays with nothing lost. Oh, okay. You can't do that with a movie's very clear. Okay, that makes total difference to what you're saying. Absolutely agree. Especially shit like Edward Scissorhands and Reservoir Dogs. In fact, he wrote Reservoir Dogs in case he couldn't get made it as a movie and he could do it as a stage play. So that's why it's all set in pretty much one set. Oh yeah, Tim Burton movies. Yeah, definitely. I think I'm surprised they haven't done like Edward Scissorhands yet, the musical. To be honest, they've done Beetlejuice the musical. That I know, haven't they? Somewhere in my brain, and I think they have.
I'm not 100% on that.
Sounds familiar.
For some reason, like 10 years ago, I think.
Oh wait, no, yes, they did do Beetlejuice the musical because Lauren Boebert was giving some guy an HJ in the audience for that thing.
That's right. Yeah, that was more recently. That's right. That's not even 10 years ago. 10 years ago
like
on
10
YouTube
weeks
time,
ago.
but see, that's 10 years ago on YouTube time. Yeah.
Wow.
So even though my math was completely wrong, it was actually correct.
Isn't that funny how it works like that?
Anyway, moving on. Script, what you got going on Patreon and
yeah,
Saturdays?
Patreon going on. I'm gonna be on with Price in 30 minutes, talking some classic, good old Quantum Leap, and then this Saturday we've read a dark comedy, and we're gonna be talking about that at 7 p.m. this Saturday.
Interesting. Yellow Flash has become a member. Oh boy! Thank you for that. And actually, I think Yellow Flash should be joining us tomorrow on the morning show, where we're going to be talking to Eric July as well. So hopefully, you guys can join us there. Yes, Price, what you got going on?
Well, there's Quantum Leap at 10 p.m. and then I guess no karaoke tomorrow, but I'll do some reviews this weekend, and I'll have some stuff up over the next week.
All right. Club Bobby, what you got going on?
In about half an hour, will be the Clubhouse tonight with Raquel and Mark. Of course, we'll have a Blake 7 review and some other stuff. And then tomorrow night on my buddy J-Man's channel, continuing our Frank Miller reviews of his Daredevil run. And then I might be hanging out with some guy named Nick at some point tomorrow night, but I'll let him tell you about that. And then Saturday night, Star Trek, of course, at the same time, same usual time, 9 p.m. Central. So thanks for having me, buddy.
I think he did tell us about that already.
I did, but it's okay. It's all good.
It's the Clubhouse with Clubby.
Yeah, either way. Works for me.
I still think you should call it the Clubhouse.
I'm thinking about that.
That's a great name.
I've been consulting my lawyers now,
Yeah, you should. Nobody's trademarked it yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6, no karaoke.
like
So
that.
maybe we'll have to fill in with something. Who knows? We'll see.
I'll fill you in with some.
Oh, baby. And last but definitely not least, the biggest YouTuber of us all, Mike, the Mexican Iron Man, the one and only one on the panel with his own music, really, or what do you call it? Theme song.
No, that's like, well, yeah, I love
It's true. I don't have any other songs on here for anybody else.
I'm not a YouTuber, but I will be a guest on.
Unless you're Grace Randolph.
What kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week?
What kind of YouTubing did Mike do this week? None. I'm not Echo Base
That's
Network.
all lies.
I'll be at Echo Base Network tomorrow at 3:00.
Cool.
Eastern.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Indeed.
When I'm not busy being pissed off that we're going to lose the shareholder vote in 3 weeks.
You know what? Even if he loses, I think that's just going to enrage and
Gonna be a
empower
bloodbath.
Peltz even more.
gonna be
Maybe
a
that's when
fucking
Elon
bloodbath.
makes his move.
Maybe it's going to be a bloodbath. We're going
Maybe.
to get our asses kicked. I can tell already.
All right. And with that,
yeah,
we're going to wrap this up. You can I might pop into TNT. We'll see how I feel.
Well, all I know is in my deep confession, I want you to come. Okay, but now you need to do it again later on the show.
All right, kids, let's get out of here. So Mike says he is not the greatest YouTuber in the world.
I'm not even a YouTuber, let alone the greatest.
He's in the top 5 at least, then for sure.
All right, let's get out of here.
Bye.
Stop eating my sesame cake.
Stop eating